Hey, is this working yet? I was running into problems. Okay. I think I might be ready. It doesn't help when I go to stream and I start the stream on the entirely wrong channel. That was fun. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome back to the EDC Squirrel channel. Hey, Morgan. Torment. Hey, how you doing, Torment? And Waylon, good to see you. So give me a moment and let me get rid of this screen. Is this working? Woo! Hey, there we go. Okay, so now before anybody says anything, no, it's not the biggest. It's not going to be the biggest haul today. I think things are going to be toning down in terms of sheer number of things that have been coming in because I will admit, I mean, everything here that I get is funded by. I sound a little muted. Really? Hold on a second. Oh, is this a little better? I know there was an update to my sound stuff. I really hope they didn't muck it up. Hold on a second. I didn't have a chance to test everything. Oh, stop it. Okay. Didn't have a chance to test everything. A little muted. I know I sound a little different than compared to my video game channel. Is this any better? I just noticed my other mic was on too. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is going to be the best I'm currently going to be able to do. I know I had a massive. There was an update to my sound and a bunch of other things. All my filters are up and everything. So I know I had a Windows update and I was fiddling with that, and then I had sound updates and sounds different than normal. Is it worse? Just different. I also hit third puberty, so that could be a thing. I don't know. And it is hot in here. The window's open. Okay. Sounds good from there. All right. So, like I said before, not going to be as many new things today because everything that you guys have seen on the channel, everything that I show, everything since even before the channel, everything I've purchased myself. This is all funded and run by me. I don't do anything special. I did run a few auctions to help make some money in order to do more, but again, everything is funded by me. So having spent a ton of shush, Morgan. Having spent a ton, admittedly quite a bit of money on this, things are going to start to peter down a little bit, and I'm trying to think of ways to raise up some more funds so I can continue to get new and more stuff. Obviously, I'm going to be concentrating a lot more on budget knives and things like that. I highly doubt you're going to see anything like $500 or anything like that on this channel because I can't afford it. But this is fun for me. I'm not doing this as a way to make money. I'm doing these videos and this knife stuff because it's just fun. I enjoy doing it. I get to talk about knives and share a hobby and learn more about it myself and all this other stuff. So I'm going to do what I can to continue doing what I can. It just might not be as big as some of the last lives where I literally had spent hundreds on knives. And you've seen how big some of them get. Keep in mind, while I do get some good deals on them, it's all out of my pocket. That being said, I do have some new knives. The majority are going to be in the traditional category for today. And I'm also late. I did well, we're not sure about that yet, Morgan. So hold on. I did have a few that were supposed to be delivered this morning, and they are currently running late today. So I'm keeping an eye on that. I might have to jet away real quick to go check my mail if they in fact show up. I'm crossing my fingers because there's something in there that I have been looking for the longest time, and I lucked out and managed to get my hands on one. So I'm really hoping it makes it today, keeping my fingers crossed. And I have some stuff to discuss. Hold on a second. Realized I didn't clean my glasses. I can't see crap. But just want to take some time off to mention that stuff. So appreciate your patience. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? The squirrel is loose again. Yes. And let's get this stuff started. So again, I don't have much in the modern category this week, mainly because I'm still waiting for stuff to come in. And also there was some stuff that is late, and I have no idea when it's coming in. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Again, I might have to check the mail in a little bit. But let me make sure I've got everything out here that I wanted to show. Okay, I got that. And I think that might be everything I had ready. Okay, so again, most of this stuff is going to be in the traditional category this week, and with good reason. First of all, we did get, it's been a while since I got a new Rough Rider, and we're going to go through some of these quick, because we're also going to be doing you'll have to excuse me, I'm a little scattered. I've been running around all morning. We're also going to be doing a customization again, like we did last week, and we'll show you that in a little while. But we're just going to go over some of the new knives I got this week. Most, if not all of them, were traditional. I'm pretty sure all of them were traditional knives. It's been a while since I got a Rough Rider. This one has been, I mainly got in this to get into a giveaway. I didn't win the giveaway, but I thought it was pretty neat. This is a coral snake from Rough Rider. It is a lockback. And I've said it before, and I'll say it time and time again. Rough Rider is one of the few knives that if somebody is looking for a new knife and they've got no more than, say, 10, 15 bucks, 20 bucks to spend, I will always recommend a Rough Rider. Because there's so much available from Rough Rider in that category, or for that amount of money, that's really well done. I mean, sure, they're not modern knives. They might not be all flippy and fidgety and whatever, but it's hard to beat a Rough Rider with lifetime warranty and all that other stuff for like 10 bucks. Many times you can even get them for less than that. And even the higher end Rough Riders, like the more expensive Rough Riders, might be 40, 50 bucks at like some of their most expensive. So it's hard not to recommend them if all you've got is like 10 to 15 bucks. And they're super collectible. They've got so many different styles, different shapes, that I can't recommend them enough if you're just looking for something inexpensive. And like this one, I'm pretty sure I didn't pay over 10 bucks for. I got this on Whatnot. I did it again to get into a giveaway, which I did not win. But it's a cool little knife. Coral Snake is the series. Lockback, secure lock, no movement on the blade. They come nice and sharp. They might need a little cleaning, but super nice knives for really, really cheap. I can't recommend enough. This is why I have a ton of them when I started out collecting traditionals. But that's one that's new for the week. We've got, let me see here. And then we've got a bunch of case. Now, some of these came from my favorite Whatnot retailer. That would be Chasing Blades. A couple of them did not. And we're going to start off with, actually, not this one. That one's been here. There's a reason for that. That was even in the pile. This one is the one I believe we might. It's either this one or another one. Actually, we'll save that. This is the one that we might customize, either this one or another one that's in here. So we'll go over that later. These were not from Chasing Blades, but I've been wanting this color for a long time. And unfortunately, Chasing Blades can't get a hold of them because they are an exclusive. And I got these from SMKW, who actually owns Rough Rider, I think. And let's go ahead. We'll open both because they're actually quite similar. Got to post a pic. What's going on? Make for. Ooh, really? You got a painting? Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, the coral snake actually would make a pretty good Halloween one. It's got the colors. This one is a little earlier than I expected when I got these two. I'm going to make sure I put these in the... I want to put them, make sure they're in the right box. These I got a little earlier than I expected to, but it's a color that I've wanted for a long time. They're hard to get, and sometimes you can find them on Whatnot, but if you find them on Whatnot, the cost skyrockets. I think average cost on these is like $80 normally, $70, $80 a piece. But the color, if you find them anywhere else, because they're sold out all the time, if you find them on Whatnot, they usually end up running anywhere from $170 to almost $300. Thankfully, they re-released it in a special way. They re-released a Christmas version. That's why I said that these are here a little earlier than I expected. And it's the peanut butter and jelly. I've got two of them because they came in two different versions. It's just a color that I've really, really liked. And they did a Christmas 2025 version. You can see they've got two shields on it with a Merry Case 2025 Christmas. You've got Santa Claus on a sleigh. And then we've got the Case Christmas 2025 Trapper. Crossroads Barlow? No. I hope to get my hands on one soon. But I do have something really cool coming in from 2025 SHOT Show, or Blade Show. 2025 Blade Show. I think it was Blade Show West, or just Blade Show in general. I don't know. It's supposed to be coming in next week, so I'll be able to show that on the next live. But I just really love the color. It's peanut butter and jelly is what they call this color. And this, in this case, this is the non-etched version, and I've got the etched version as well. It's your standard trapper. Otherwise, you got your California clip blade, you got a spay blade, standard size trapper, and again, I just thought they were really neat. I wanted to get my hands on an official PB&J, and while this might be a seasonal thing and not your typical PB&J, I was still happy to get my hands on it. The reason why I got two of them is because this is your standard bolster one. I'm just going to wrap this back up. And then they had a different one with an etched bolster. And we'll show you that in a sec. Yeah, there's not a lot of new knives today. And this is the etched bolster one. I think the difference in cost was only like about $10. Again, PB&J Christmas edition, except we have the etched bolsters on this one. You got jelly on the one side, you got PB on the other. I think it was like a $5-10 difference on price. Otherwise, same standard size trapper. I don't know if they still have these available. I know they were selling pretty quick when I got them. As soon as I saw that they were available, I jumped on them, snapped them up quick as I could. And yeah, you have to check with SMKW, see if they have them in stock. Last I checked, just a couple days ago, I think they still had them in stock. But I've been told that they were going pretty quick. And I know their other regular PB&Js, they've been sold out for a long, long time. And the only place I've ever seen them being sold is on Whatnot or maybe eBay. But you're going to pay insane amounts for them. Like I said, these, like I think 80, 90 bucks at best, or at most. The standard PB&Js, if you can find them, I've seen go for anywhere from 170 to, 250 bucks, which is crazy. Like utter craziness. But I just really like the color on these. The touch of brown, the kind of violet, like blue violet color, I thought was really neat. And I've wanted a PBJ ever since I've seen one, but I didn't want to spend 3, 4, 5 times the cost for what people were asking for them. They just got hoarded and the prices jumped crazy insane. Hopefully we can get Chasing Blades bigger to the point of where they can get some of these exclusives, because I think that would be pretty neat. But those were 2 PB&Js I got from SNKW. And then we'll go with this one. One I did get from Chasing Blades that I thought was really cool is this. This is the Happy Halloween 2025 case. You're not paying $200 unless it's 3 feet long. No kidding. This comes in a neat little tin, and this one is another seasonal. It's a synthetic, so it's not a bone, but I'm starting to take a liking to these, and thee are called copper locks. And this is a synthetic done with your Halloween scene on one side, plain on the back, and on the single blade we have a Warncliffe blade, which I really like, and then Happy Halloween on the side. I'm really liking these copper locks. They're lockback knives, so they lock in place. And I just thought these were really neat and not bad in cost. I'm trying to remember how much this was. Maybe it was just a tad over 100 or just around 100. I can't quite recall. I know I got it from Chasing Blades. They have another Halloween, I believe, that comes in a wooden box that's with orange bone. That's significantly more expensive, but I've been getting really keen on these copper lock patterns because I'm liking the locking blade and the Warncliffe variation. A lot of times they normally come with a clip point blade, but this Warncliffe variation on the copper lock is exceptionally cool. Because I like that type of blade for utility. That I'd probably really be using this a lot, but I just thought it was really neat and a neat get for Halloween this year. And I had a few. I think I had one from Kaiser I showed you guys that I thought was really neat. Had to get one from Case I thought was pretty cool. I can't remember if I have another one coming. It's really bad when I can't remember what I've bought. But yeah, that's the Halloween case that I thought was really neat. I think Chasing Blade still has a few more of them. If you check out Whatnot, you might still have 1 or 2 more. Might even be getting more of them in if you're looking for one of these, and they will get you, as far as I've been able to see, like the best price on these. So that's really cool. The last one I got from Chasing Blades is this here. And this one's going to be a special one because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Kenny paid over $300 for Series Sword. You're not a happy camper, even though it was for you. You're cheap. No, I'm kidding. This is another copper lock. And this one is a natural bone copper lock. And this one's going to be special. Though it might be this one. I don't know yet. Reason being is we have this here, and I love the color of this natural bone. I know it might seem to a lot of people, it's just white. There's nothing special about it. But when you look at all the little, I'm going to say imperfections, which they're really not. They're just it's the natural look of the bone. I just thought it looks really, really nice. I love the natural look of bone as much as I like colored variations of it. This is another Wharncliffe version of a Copperlock. Wharncliffe blade. And the reason why this one's going to be special, or I mean, this one might be special, is because of this. I have two of them. Now, if you look really carefully at them, because they're made of natural bone, they're going to have variations in how they look. You can see the one I've had previously has little darkness or shadows towards the edges. And it's got like a little white streak over there. Or this one has this interesting, almost like wood grainy marking on one side and an interesting pattern to the bone on the other. And the reason why I have two is I'm going to be customizing one of these today. One of these is getting burned. And I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. I've been looking at this. I've actually been agonizing over this for a little while after having received this one. And I'm really leaning towards burning the bottom one, even though this is the one I just received with ideas to customize my next knife. You can see there how they look. And I think part of it is because I'm really liking the bone color on the back of this one, where I think I'm going to keep this one pristine. And I might go ahead and customize this one today. So we will be doing that actually not too long from now. And I have another thought, because I did get yet another knife. I actually have a couple knives coming that I intend to customize. This is the one I was planning for today. I'm thinking of doing another one for today. I might be customizing two knives. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just going to put this back in the box for now. And the reason why I'm going through this pretty quick is A, there's not much to show, to be quite honest. B, I know customizing is going to take some time. So we're going to put this back in here for now. But I'm thinking of customizing this one. We might burn this one. The other knife I'm thinking about, as I kick my camera, fix that real quick. The other one I'm thinking about is, where the hell I put it? I was just staring at it. No, as I drop a knife. That's always good. Oh, where'd you fall? I have so many boxes, it's ridiculous. I don't know where the knife fell. I have an utter mess going on right now. If you can hear boxes that literally like shift around next to me. Okay, oh, there it is. All right. The other one I'm thinking of doing quite possibly today is this one. Now I've had this for a little bit. I don't mind spend. I think I spend more on other people than I do myself, to be quite honest. With maybe exception to these knives. I haven't given away that many knives. This one is also. Oh wait, no. This is. Oh no, this is not it. This is another one I did get from Chasing Blades. Okay, I completely forgot about this one. This one's another natural bone. I wasn't planning on customizing this one. I just completely forgot I had it. This one is a slimline trapper. So essentially a single bladed trapper with a California clip point. I completely forgot that this was new for this week. But I've really been liking the natural bone, as you can probably guess. Otherwise, I wouldn't have so many. But I'm really keen on doing a lot more customizations. And I will get you that box. I will have to send that box when I can. I don't know when I'll be able to send it out. But I'll send it out because I know I got to finish my Christmas present shipping. But another natural bone from Chasing Blades. This one is a natural bone case slimline trapper. I'm liking these case knives more and more. I've been acquiring more and more of these as time goes by, simply because of their, number one, their beauty, number two, their utility. They're just handy. As long as you don't need a knife that's, really quick and speedy to, like, in a super quick emergency, these are great for every day-to-day use. And I've been liking these slim lines, those copper locks. I've always been a fan of trappers, the doctor's knives, which I want to get more of, because the mini docks are going to be going away at the end of this year. Case has stated that they will be putting the baby dock pattern into the vault, and after 2025, baby docks are going to be much harder to acquire, other than what retailers generally have in stock. And if you give me a minute, I just noticed mail came in. So if you bear with me just a second, I will, a minute, I'll be right back. So let me go ahead and grab the mail. That means I've got two knives, one of which I've been wanting for a super long time. It's about damn time I got here. So give me a minute. Be right back. As soon as I can find my keys. Keys. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Somebody was holding the elevator, for crying out loud. And two things came in. So you had sync deliveries. My deliveries normally come much earlier in the morning. I don't know what's going on. My regular guy keeps taking more vacation days or something. But normally they would have been here way before I started the stream. And lately they've been coming relatively late now. What is this? Oh, another slip. I love these things. I use these all the time for my traditionals. Got this one from Chasing Blaze as well. Just something you can slip your knife in, and it protects them in your pocket. Amazon just delivered what you were waiting on. I'm waiting for stuff from Amazon. I'm still waiting for stuff from Amazon as well. But I'm actually really excited that these came in, which is why I had to run down. The funny thing is, here I am looking at the packages and thinking, I need a knife to open up these packages. Okay. So both these knives, something excited I've been waiting on. Unfortunately, not from Chasing Blades, because these are, one of them were super hard to get. Another one is an exclusive. We will look at the exclusive first. And I was actually kind of surprised at how quick this thing got to me. I'll just open this real quick. Oh, they just had to use styrofoam peanuts. Trying to figure out a place to dump these. This is one of those exclusives. Where is it? Greenbone Corncob Jig Trapper. I thought they were called lizard skins. This is from, it's a Shepherd Hills exclusive. I've never ordered from Shepherd Hills before. But they have some interesting stuff that you can only get from them. And this is supposed, people call this a lizard skin. Oh, yeah. There you go. We got a jig greenbone trapper, which looks like was also toasted. Standard size trapper. Did I look at that other display case? Not closely yet. I have it in my list. I took a quick look at it when you mentioned it to me, but then I got distracted by other stuff. So I'm going to take another close look at it again. The only problem is I need something that doesn't have to be on a wall. I need something tabletop oriented. Not that I have a lot of tabletop space either. But yeah, I need more and more cases. Both case knives and cases. This is a Warncliffe version of a trapper. Another favorite thing of mine. But I just like the color. And there's something special that I'm going to do that I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Let's see here. This was the peanut butter and jelly one. And there's a reason why I'm pulling that back out. Now, I was looking at the lizards, and now they're not... they're about the same price as any standard trapper, give or take. But I was looking at the colors, and I was looking how they burned them. And I've been playing around, obviously, with burning and customizing my own knives. And I decided I was going to start hunting down some of these colors to see if I can't recreate them myself. Now, I haven't seen a greenbone jigged one. So I am kind of still looking for just a plain green jig bone trapper. Because I'd like to try to recreate this burn on my own. Now, the reason why I say that is I did come across, I'll pull this one back out. I did come across some jigged blue trappers, okay? Where I think they're a little lighter blue than this is, but they're just blue bone trappers, nothing else. Jigged similar to how this is. And I might try to recreate my own peanut butter and jelly using the light blue bone knives that I found from Case. And I kind of lucked out because I've been told that they are getting increasingly hard to get. I'm guessing that particular color, and I don't know if it's the same with the green, but I'm guessing this particular color, or the light blue color, is getting harder and harder to get. I actually went ahead and said, screw it. I bought 2 of them, and I'm going to try to recreate and make my own version of the peanut butter and jelly and see how I do. So now those obviously are not here yet. I wonder. I ordered them. When are they supposed to get here? I think they're supposed to get here next week. God dang it. Get over there. I think they're supposed to get here next week. As soon as they do, I'm going to earmark at least one of them. Like one of them, I like to have one pristine version and then get a second one to burn, which is why you see me get doubles. My intention is to keep one the way it is and then burn the other, customize the other. And I believe, yeah, that one's, it's more yellow towards the edge. Let me see if I can see when they're coming in. I'm trying to remember where I got them from. Oh, I remember where I got them from. Good God. I think they are available actually on Amazon, but they're very few. And I think Amazon's price is actually higher for them. I got mine from Knife Center, but they were going quick. And I would get more, but I just went with a standard sky blue as opposed to like any other patterns because they were the least expensive of the group. Yeah, Boker they have their own tree brand. But I'm looking for a jigged bone because I like the texture on those. Morgan sent me a pic of a tree brand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm looking for. I'll just see if I can get my hands on a few of them. That one's not, I think that Hui? I'm not familiar with Hui. But I've got some of the sky blues coming in, and I plan on burning those. I'd like to see if I can find the case versions of the green, because I really like how the brown and green came together on that one that I did burn, the green apple. So I'd like to try it on this type of green or a lighter, like an all green. I think would be fun, because the green apples are essentially like you were saying, the green and yellow. That's what I did last time. That's the one that I customized last time. And I did darken it up a little bit. I'll show you in a minute. Because when I did the live, I burned the edge, I burned the sides, burned the edges, and I kind of wasn't satisfied with the color. I wanted an actual darker color to see how it would be. And I did darken the ends towards the bolsters, and I like how it came out. So yeah, it's a lot darker than what you guys would have what you guys originally saw last week, but I thought it came out really good. I just wanted it a bit more pronounced on the edges. So this is the one I did last week. I just toasted it a little bit more over the week. Yeah, this is the peach seed jig that you're talking about, the apple. This is a green apple, except this is the one obviously that I burned. I've actually got quite a few of these because it's one of my favorite colors from Case. Are the green apples. I've got another just regular green apple trapper. I've got a mini trapper. I've got I've got a few. And actually, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Is because I'm going to do that one white bone. I want to burn and toast that white bone, but I'm considering doing this one also, because I already have a second one coming, and I don't know if I want to wait till I get the second one. I might wait till I get the second one, in which case I'll do that next week. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to burn this one or wait till the other one comes in and see what the color looks like on the one that's coming in, but it's just not going to come in until next week. But I want to do another caramel apple, except on this copper lock. I might not do it as dark. I do like the dark brown, but I might not do it as dark. Just keep it a little on the lighter side for this copper lock. I don't know yet. We'll see when it comes out. But I'm really thinking about doing this one. Like if I says I do this one, I could actually do it today during the live. Otherwise, we'll wait. I'm just trying to decide whether I want to do this or wait till I get the second one in case I think the other one might make a better caramel apple. But I do have one here now. And again, I just really, really like this color. I've always liked the green apples the first time I saw them. I didn't get them right away because of the cost. And then as I was selling and making a little bit more, I acquired a lot of these. And again, I'm really liking these copper locks. Have I seen the cyan color? I don't know. I know I showed a crimson bone last week. I don't recall seeing a cyan. You'll have to show me. But yeah, I'm gonna do one of the copper locks same way I did that last caramel apple. I just might not do it as dark. I like the dark. I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. I'll start it off obviously if I want it darker, I'll just do it. We'll see how that goes. But those are the other two that I want to customize. The peanut butter, I want to see if I can make or the peanut butter jelly, I want to see if I can make my own. And if I can get my hands on a green jig case, I'm going to see if I can make my own lizard skin. I just think it'd be really cool. And considering they're hard to get and hard to find, and in some cases you pay more, it'd be kind of neat to make my own custom version of it. Now, I've got another one. This is the one I have been waiting for a very long time, and I was afraid I wasn't going to find it. It's a mid-orange color. It's discontinued, sadly. Oh, well, that could be a reason why I might not have seen it. This one is not a case. This one's a Rough Rider. You'll see why I've been wanting this. Oh, I should take out... Hold on a second. I didn't think about this. I should have grabbed the others. Oh, I might not be able to. Shoot. It's buried back there. I should have thought about this earlier in the week. Okay, if anybody knows, at one point I showed a bunch of knives from Rough Rider that my girlfriend got me. And they were called the Zombie Nicks. A Zombie Nick, the name of a zombie character that they put out. It was I believe a limited series where they were like, I can't remember if they're synthetic or green bone. I believe they're green synthetic. But they were like your typical green zombie knife. Okay, I have a razor done like that. I have a trapper. I believe, you know what? I might have to pull them out, which means I'm going to have to dig. Because it just occurred to me that if Chasing Blades shows up, there was something that he wanted me to demonstrate. And I can't demonstrate unless I pull these out. So if you hear an avalanche of boxes, don't call 911 yet. Maybe soonish, but I'm hoping I don't have to dig very far, but I have a feeling I might have to dig. Because I've got a lot. Oh my God, I don't think it's this box. To give you guys an idea, I have never really shown my entire collection. This is just one shoebox. I'm hoping it's in this box. I don't think it's in this box. If it's in this box, awesome. If it's not in this box, I'm going to have to do a lot more digging. Now, some of these boxes are empty. A lot of them are not. I don't believe it's in this box. I've got a lot of case knives. This one's empty. Because a lot of these knives I actually use. And I'm trying to figure out another way to display. I did get another sheath for my vintage, which was super awesome. Got that from Chasing Blades. It's not in that box. Oh. Like I said, if I had thought about this, I would have prepared a lot better. But this was because I wasn't sure when this knife was going to come in, which is why it wasn't thinking about it, and then I found out it was coming today. Now I have a crap load of like empty boxes too. Now I'm one of those weird ones that will keep certain boxes. I haven't kept every box to every knife that I own because, like, especially with a lot of this, when I first started my Civivi knives, my intention not only was to collect, but to use a lot of them. So I never really kept so many boxes until I started actually collecting, what do you call that? My traditionals. Once I started collecting traditionals, I started keeping more and more boxes. Ah, there they are. Found them. Okay. So let me pull these out. Oh, that's a workout. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to leave you here. Oh, no, that's a mistake. I will leave you down here. Probably still a mistake. Okay. So these are the knives that my girlfriend got me. These are the zombie nicks. And these were the 3 that she got me in a set. And I may have shown these before. See, more displays would help. No kidding. You guys didn't see the box that I just pulled out and found these in. This is a zombie nick toe. And like I said, I don't recall. Are these bone? I'm out of breath. Those boxes are heavy. I can't recall if these were bone or not. I'd like to say they're synthetic. Yeah, they're synthetic. Okay, they're not real bone. But this is the elephant toe, and they're all relatively similar. You got this, the elephant toe has a big main blade and a smaller pen blade, as you can see here. And you've got Zombie Nick with Zombie Nick himself on the blade and as its shield. I pulled this one because it's probably the easiest one to see. The pen knife portion, and they all say this as well on the blade somewhere, is friends don't let friends eat friends. But I thought that these were really nifty because, again, I have a thing for zombies. They used to horrify me, something awful. But as I got older, I started really getting into horror movies, and I could not get enough of the zombie genre. And that included a lot of things other than just movies. So that's the Zombie Nick toe. This one is the Razor Lockback. You can see it's a straight razor style. Zombie Nick on the other side. Friends don't let friends eat friends. And it is a lockback, like I said. So single-bladed razor lockback. And the other one, I can't remember what that one is. We're going to keep this to the side. This one's a trapper. And again, similar styling. We've got a California clip blade with Zombie Nick on one blade. And we've got Friends Don't Let Friends Eat Friends on the other with your typical spay blade. Admittedly, probably some of my favorite Rough Rider knives. Obviously, because they were also given to me by my girlfriend, which I thought was super cool. Not terribly expensive. These should still be available, I believe. I think. I could be wrong. Well, let me look. I'm going to check Amazon real quick. Yeah, okay, so some of these can still be found on Amazon. I'm seeing the Razor for like $26 with only 5 left. Um, but they are getting increasingly hard to find. When I got these for my girlfriend, I actually found them, and she was kind enough to go for it. Here you go, and got them for me. And so, yeah, I feel like I got kind of lucky. The only other places I've seen them on are on Whatnot, but I haven't seen them that often on Whatnot either anymore. Now, as I was digging around and learning more about these knives, I found out one particular thing is that this is not the whole set. It's the majority of it, but it's not the whole set. And there were a couple other things that belonged to the Zombie Nick line. A couple of them weren't actually even knives, I believe. But those I can't find anywhere, no longer available. But as far as the traditional knives are concerned, I was surprised to find out that there was one more. And it's called a Zombie Nick, obviously, canoe. Now, I set forth looking for this canoe, and it was the reason why I actually started selling stuff on Whatnot. It was the reason for me holding my very first auction, because looking for that Zombie Nick canoe was the thing that got me scammed. I thought I found it. It was really hard to find. Found out that they are no longer making it. You couldn't find them anywhere. I thought I found a site, and against my better judgment and, you know, combination of sleep deprivation, excitement, and etc., etc. I mean, it is my fault for not. I was being dumb. I was just being dumb. I fell for a scam and was taken, and that's why I held my very first auction. Was looking for the last of this set. I've had. Oh no, not your fault, Torment. Seriously, not your fault. It's my fault because I normally do a lot of digging and due diligence. I work in IT, for crying out loud, which is also the most embarrassing part. I work in IT. And I didn't do my due diligence that time. And I paid for it. But things got squared away, got taken care of. I didn't suffer a financial loss. If in anything, I managed to get a little gain because of that auction where I sold a bunch of stuff. So I got lucky. But lesson learned: remain diligent, double check, and don't don't just take certain things at face value, and because it looked professional. I mean, I'll be honest, but like I said before, I didn't do my due diligence. And in hindsight, if there was things that there were things that should have given me immediate red flags that I just ignored, and that's my fault. So I've had people looking for the canoe. I've had retailers looking for the canoe. I've had chasing blade. I had a couple sellers on Whatnot looking for me, seeing if they can get a hold of the canoe, and they have been looking since I've asked. This has been a good few months at least, and I finally found it. Now I haven't opened this box, so if I got scammed again, I am going to be very pissed off. I just opened this now. This is what came in today. That is what came in today. So, did I get scammed again? Because if I get scammed now, I got scammed twice because there's another one of these coming in. I bought two of them. Crossing my fingers here. Got it. The Zombie Nick canoe. There are going to be people who cares? That thing is only like so many dollars. It's not even that. I have the full set now of Zombie Nick traditional knives. I know there's other Zombie Nick stuff, a couple other Zombie Nick things. I don't care about them. This is all I was concerned about, was getting the Zombie Nick traditionals. And I finally got my hands on the canoe that I've been looking for. Not only that, I've got a second one coming that I will hold on to until everything disappears and I will sell for $1 million. Oh my God. Now, these are supposed to be new old stock, I believe. There's some gunk on here. The boxes look like they're in good condition. I'm not concerned. Like, I could toss these boxes and it'll be fine. I don't know. I'm weird. I like to keep certain things neat. Like, I would be sad if the box got destroyed, but it's not going to. My main concern is the knife. But this is a canoe. The reason why they call it the canoe is because of its canoe shape when it's closed. Oh, you searched for hours. I searched for months. I had other people searching. I had sellers checking with their distributors looking for this knife. I asked SMKW, who owns the zombie, or who owns Rough Rider, essentially. I'm pretty sure they own Rough Rider. Like, they own the IP. So if you want anything Rough Rider, SMKW will generally have it. They said they don't have any unless somebody had them in a drawer in the office somewhere. Like, I'd have to beg somebody to check their drawer to see if they had one. That's what SMKW told me. They don't have these. I didn't get this from them. I may have had to Dexter some people. I'm kidding. I did not have to Dexter anybody. So to get my hands on one of these finally, I can't believe. Not only did I get my hands on one, I can't believe I got my hands on two. I could technically get my hands on three. But because these are things that you can't find anywhere and are relatively scarce, well, very scarce. I mean, at least for a Rough Rider, these are getting expensive. Now, granted, they're not that expensive when in compared to a lot of things. I mean, when you think about it, Rough Rider's generally around 15, 20 bucks on average. I got this for about 25. I did buy two, though. I haggled on the second one. Saved like $2. But so as far as Rough Riders, they're starting to get up there. If you consider that up there. I'm just so excited to get my hands on one. And good snap. That's nice. Good snap down. Did that hit the edge? No. Did this hit the edge? No. Oh, yeah. These are going to deserve their own display case. I've got to get something specific for these. Maybe a couple other Rough Riders that are my favorites. But I am so excited to finally have one of these and to actually complete this. I was afraid this just wasn't going to happen. But then I lucked out. And so, yay, we are going to go over, and we'll clean this in a little bit. I've got one more knife I'm going to show. And it's technically, well, it's a new knife. But we're going to put that aside. We're going to clean that coming up, and then we'll start on some customization. I've done a video on this knife before. And, hold on a second. Hold on. Coffee to wet my whistle. I've done a video on this knife before. If you've watched my videos, you've probably seen it. And the reason why I did a video on this knife is because it was a knife from the Monthly Knife Club. It is a Civivi Terax, or Terax. I don't know how you pronounce it. Really nice blade. Okay. I can't remember what month. I'm pretty sure I have it titled somewhere in there. But we've got a stainless steel handle, I believe, with natural or jade G10 inserts or scales, reversible pocket clip, thumb studs. I forgot how long the blade is on this. And it is a frame lock, which I don't see too often on Civivis. This is about 3.5-inch blade on this one. Cool choil on this. It's not the biggest finger choil, but enough for me to get like a finger on like a ledge there. Nice and quick, solid lockup, and just looks really cool. About roughly $55, $60 knife going anywhere else. Okay, roughly about that much. But there's a reason why I'm showing this, is because I acquired another one that I haven't even opened this box. This is brand new. I acquired this, like I acquired an extra one, Civivi Terex Natural. So this is essentially the exact same knife that's in this box. I haven't opened it. Admittedly, I should probably go take a peek, but this is brand new. It's from a retailer, so it's not from somebody on Whatnot selling their collection or anything like that. So now I have two of these. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is I haven't done an auction in quite some time. I don't really intend to do auctions again. I do still have stuff on my buy it now on Whatnot. So if you look at my profile on Whatnot, you can see all the things I have that are still available for you to buy now. You know, you don't have to do an auction. You just simply, if you want it, you can pay it, and there you go. And some stuff I even have the ability to take in offers. Like if you want to try to make an offer, if I agree with it, you can get it that way. The reason why I'm mentioning this is later today after my stream, I'm going to be putting this one in my Whatnot store. Hey, Ron, how you doing? So if anybody is interested in their own Civivi Terex, brand new, again, I never opened this box. I'm not a retailer. I got this from a retailer. But if they're interested in one, should have all the original stuff in there. If you want me to open it and take a, well, you know, let's open it and take a peek, because I'm not going to use it. Let me just make sure that what we're looking at is an actual knife, and somebody didn't stuff it full of like blocks of wood, because that would piss me off. I've had that happen. So we've got your typical Civivi pouch. We got all your Civivi stuff, including a little knife sticker, microfiber, another Civivi sticker, warranty information, and there you go. There's the knife. So I'm going to leave it in there. I'm not even going to bother pull it out. So we know at least we've got the actual knife in there. I don't have it there now, but I will be putting it later today. So if anybody's interested in the Civivi, I'll probably throw it up for $55, which is the going cost on this one, and then leave it open to possible offers. So if you're interested, later tonight, check it out. I'll be putting this on my buy it now portion of Whatnot. So I just wanted to mention that in case anybody would be interested. Since I have one, I don't need a second one. And it's a really cool knife. I really like it. I don't carry it myself very often because it is a rather large blade. And I do live in an area that has blade length restrictions. So it does tend to sort of stay in my collection. I have taken it out, but I don't do it very often. But really nice knife from Civivi. If anybody's interested, that will be up on my buy it now on Whatnot later tonight, as soon as I have time to throw it in there. And how you doing, Ron? You're carrying a Kunwu Excalibur Integral in black DLC with Zircuti clip. Ooh, clip. EMP Nimble. You got an EMP Nimble Frag Titanium Scales Zircuti clip. Big idea. Holy cow. You got some money in that stuff. And a fossil watch. You got some money. You want to know what I was carrying earlier? Hold on, because I actually just put it away since I'm at home. I don't have a reason to carry it, but what I was carrying earlier when I was out and about was this one, and I had on me, not that one. Where did I put it? It's something I always carry with me. You guys have seen it a number of times. I always carry it with me, and I just realized I don't have it out here, which is actually quite surprising. Unless I dropped it somewhere, which is a possibility. It might be in my, oh no, I think it might be in my jacket or my pants pocket. Anyway, this is what I had on me earlier today. Remet Sacred Falcon. And yes, I will carry some of the more expensive knives with me. Otherwise, what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? My Remet Sacred Falcon, my Cobra Tech CNC OTF pen. And although this isn't the exact one I was carrying today, it's representative of the one I was carrying earlier. I was carrying my case Mediterranean Blue. This is a green apple Sodbuster Jr. But I was carrying the Mediterranean Blue one earlier today. So that's the one I had on me earlier, which I'm a little concerned about not having on my desk because it's usually always on my desk. I usually make a point to make sure to take it back out. So, of course, now I'm concerned. And I'm going to go check. Yep, left it in my pants. There we go. Thank you, Ron. This is the one I was carrying earlier today because my girlfriend got this for me. So this one always comes with me. And then there's the knife on my keys, but I don't know if anybody's interested in that. I always have something on me, regardless of. I've just realized on most days I'll carry anywhere from 4 to 5 knives, including the one on my keychain, which is this. A little miniature Higanakami. Japanese traditional knife. Do you have the black one? Yeah, I like they call this gray, but it's like a neat, like, I don't know, bluish gray. This is the thing that's attached to my keys. Is this little Japanese traditional knife. I actually use this quite a lot, surprisingly. Especially when I'm in a spot where they're like, you can't carry knives in here. But anyway, that's what I had on me today. So that's my pocket check. Anybody was wondering, where'd my keys go? Put that back in there. Put this back in the case. Love this knife, by the way. Thing's awesome. And you can go make sure you're locked before I stab myself. I love that pen too. I use that a lot more than I thought I would. Okay, so this was the last of the new things I got for this week. So like I said, not the biggest week for knives for me, because I have been getting really, really spendy. The biggest excitement came from finally finishing my Rough Rider Zombie Nick collection. That was super cool. Now, what I'm going to do for the moment is, since we got this in now, I am going to do a quick cleaning because I'm kind of OCD about this. I'm going to do a real fast cleaning of the Zombie Nick so I can prepare that to be put away. And then we're going to get on with some customizations. You don't have pockets? I'm going to go grab my stuff I use to clean my knives. I've got some camellia oil, knife oil from Japan. And I've got some micro swabs. Most of the stuff that I use is going to be in the description below. So if you want to help the channel out, I don't have enough subscribers for like super chats or anything like that. Some people have asked in the past. But I do have an affiliate thing with Amazon, and I do have a lot of what I use linked down below. So if you want to help the channel out and you're planning on grabbing some stuff for, your own collection or to, sharpen, oil, things like that, go check out the links below and you can get that stuff and help me out in the process. But anyway, let's clean this real quick. First thing I'm going to do is basically douse the hell out of this with oil. I like using camellia oil because it's food safe. And this oil that I have is intended to be used on knives. It makes a really good protectant and really good to use in the pivots as well. I'll let that run down in there a little bit, and we'll open that up and start brushing that. So, yeah, I don't know how long I'll be streaming today because I obviously didn't have anywhere near as many knives as I had in the past. And I don't know how long the customizations will take, but we'll see. We're going to take it easy. And we'll chat about knives because that's the other thing I enjoy doing. So, has anybody else got anything new for this week? I've gotten almost all traditional. I'm actually waiting on a modern knife from Amazon. That's probably not going to get here until next week. I've got an interesting. I'd like to say it's modern. It's like a mix of modern traditional coming from Chasing Blades next week. I've got other knives coming in that I'm going to customize live because I'm realizing I'm having a hell of a fun time customizing these knives. And all that coming in next week. It's not going to be a huge one. You picked up a Jack Wolf. I want to get myself a Jack Wolf. And the only places I've actually seen those, I mean, I could probably look for an online retailer. I've always seen them on Whatnot. I can't remember who I usually see them from. I can't remember. I've been spending most of my time with very specific Whatnot sellers like Chasing Blades, Going Gear, Appalachian Freeze Dried for a lot of candy, which I really need to stop eating so much candy. Those are the three I spend my most. Oh, and Titan knives. Those are the four I spend most of my time in when I'm on Whatnot. I know I've seen Jack Wolf. It's a Blade Runner. I can't remember. But I'd love to get my hands on one. I know they can be pretty pricey if I remember correctly. I'm just working that oil into the pivots. There we go. And then now these blades are coated, so I'm not too worried about like protecting the blades so much. They have a coating on them, and they are stainless steel blades, so that's not too much of a worry. I'm more concerned about cleaning out the well that's in there. Case knives, for the most part, on average, are pretty darn clean. I have to admit, with Rough Riders, a little hit or miss. Sometimes they're clean, sometimes they're kind of gunky. So we'll add a little bit more oil to the well. And let that sort of like run around in there. The Olites, the Olites are really neat. It's funny because I say I don't collect flashlights, but somehow I ended up with like 1 billion flashlights. Some of them Olites, some of them I haven't even removed from the boxes yet. I have so many flashlights. Like, I like them because they're handy, and considering how many times the power goes out in my apartment, I get a lot of flashlights and then just leave them everywhere. They're on dressers, they're on bookshelves, they're in bookshelves, they're in drawers, like all over the apartment. Like I don't have a flashlight drawer. I just have them everywhere. I've got a couple on my desk, next to my desk, on the nightstands, by my computer, several in the kitchen, a few in the living room, because I have literally no trust in the power in my apartment. I have like everything that's important to keep running in my apartment, I have on backup batteries. Like my computer, the power goes out, and this happened a few times before. The power will go out. I have my computer on a backup. I have my Wi-Fi on a backup. I have my entertainment stuff like game consoles on backup. I have medical stuff on backup. The amount of money I poured into backup batteries is more than anybody really needs to spend. Anybody should have to spend. It's crazy. But then again, it's important, especially since I work from home and I have a lot of medical stuff that I have to deal with, that, could be kind of bad if it stops running. So, I mean, it's a needed investment. It shouldn't have to be. Okay, so swabbing the inside, we can see I've removed quite a bit already. And then I'll just continue to swab and work that oil around in there to get all the gunk out. And it's actually quite nice and shiny in there. Yeah, my brother actually has a battery generator for his place, or for his home. It's a rather expensive unit, but what it is it looks like a small generator, and then it has all these batteries attached to it. Okay. And it sits there attached to the wall. It's plugged into the wall. It stays charged. And it's like one massive battery with a bunch of satellite batteries. I can't remember the name of it. And if the power ever goes out, he can simply bring that down. It's strong enough to run his fridge. And then the satellite batteries he could take off and then run other things and plug other things into them. So he's got this massive unit. It's not like like I have uninterruptible power supplies for my electronics. I don't know if it acts as an uninterruptible power supply, but it's definitely like it's an electric generator. I know that's what it's called. I just don't know if it's an uninterruptible or could be used as an uninterruptible. I have uninterruptible stuff because I have stuff that needs to continue to run if the power goes out. Not just, like I said, the medical stuff and etc. I can't. It's just bad if it's it's not good if it stops. It needs to be constantly running. So then it's annoying as hell, especially with computer stuff. And then more often than not, if the power goes out, I mean, you're still getting Wi-Fi or you're still getting internet. It's just obviously you won't get internet if your router shuts off. So I made sure to put that one on a backup. And that thing has come in handy so many times. It's probably paid for itself like several times over. All my UPSs, all my uninterruptible stuff has paid for itself several times over. I could not stress the fact of how needed those things are. Especially just for keeping your computer safe if you have your computer on for extended periods of time. That's the PC geek coming out of me. I'm not just a blade head. Or I don't know what that. Well, I don't know. Do knife collectors have a nickname? I have no idea. I just came up with blade head. I mean, I've heard I've heard sneakerheads. I don't know if they have a nickname for people that collect insane amounts of knives. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Now I'm just gonna wait for. I know a lot of that oil is gonna work its way past the springs, and it will just sort of like seep out slowly. I'm just gonna use another. Oh no, I'll just use this one. I'm running this swab through, drying it, and then running it through again to pick up as much excess oil as I can. I hope it, so it's not running all over the place when I put it in the box. Because I did douse this pretty well, which is what you want to do. It just ends up becoming a little pain when you're trying to clean the rest of that or soak the rest of that oil up. And I don't know if I'm going to bother with giving it a really good polish at the moment. Maybe I will. Just run it over with a sunshine cloth real quick when I'm done with this. And then we'll get on with customizing one of those copper locks. Now, one of the hardest things that I have in regards to customizing turns out to be relatively easy. The hardest part is envisioning how you want to do it. And that's the part that I tend to agonize the most over. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Let me check. I just realized I don't have my time up, so I don't know how long this has taken me and how long I'm spending sitting here. There we go. Excuse me. So we've got this pretty well cleaned. I'm going to wipe this off. I thought I had another oilcloth that was kind of like, bleh. There we are. Wipe off the excess from the blades themselves. That just sort of inadvertently oils the blade as well, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I'll close this a little bit. And I do this so I can wipe off any dirt. You'll see when you put a blade halfway in a traditional, the spring on the back pops out a little bit. And a lot of times, as you can see there could be some gunk left over from the machining. And so I'll push the blade halfway and I can wipe the majority of that gunk off and away. And then the other side, you can see there. But this is how I clean all my traditional knives when I get them. I might not have the time to do them right away because like a lot of the case knives, I still will clean. Although they tend to be the cleanest out of any traditionals I get so far. Cobra Tech knives are actually pretty clean when I got them too. Like I said, Rough Riders are kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I've gotten them brand new, super clean. Other times I've gotten them brand new and they were a little on the dirty side. And then on some cases, or not case knives, but on some Rough Riders, and Frost seems to be the worst when it comes to it. And Frost knives aren't bad. But when it comes to dirty knives, I've seen the worst come from Frost. Some of those need some scrubbing. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, they cut it, they put everything together, and they shove it in a box. Is what it seems like. There we go. That one's nice. We will fold this one part way. And then not so much gunk on this one. A little bit. And then this is what I do with every knife. Literally every knife. And even my modern knives, I'll at least put some pivot oil on the pivot. There's some oil on the pivot. Make sure that the pivot stays well lubricated because it's just a place where the knife tends to wear down. And I do that so that it cuts down on the amount of mechanical wear on those bearings and stuff. A lot of times when you get, especially the higher end knives, they've already got some oil in there, but I always like to add a little bit more just to make sure. And that helps keep everything running nice and smooth. So there we go. This one is nice and clean. I don't think I really need to polish it all too much. Where did I put my sunshine? Oh, there's my other nasty looking oilcloth. This sunshine cloth is about done. It's still got some life in it. And I'll just polish up the bolsters a little bit, the back a little bit, and the badge. And these sunshine cloths are great to put a little shine on anything metal. And even like wood, they put a nice shine on. Those are great for taking stuff like gunk off. There we go. Yay! All nice and clean. When am I going to do another live? I normally do a live on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then it's usually like what I got new for the week. And then sometimes I'll do like what I'm doing now, cleaning. Sometimes I've done sharpenings. Last week I customized the knife, and that was really fun, which is why I'm going to do another one today and probably another one next week. And just talk about knives in general. It's how I learn. I mean, I've been collecting for a while, but I'm always learning something new. I'm relatively new to traditional knives. I had traditional knives for a long time, but only like a small handful. It's only been this year that I really got into these traditionals, and I've gotten a lot of new ones, a lot of case. Before I started my channel, before I got into traditionals, I might have had like 3 traditional knives. And most of what I did, or most of what I collected, were modern styles, like Civivi, Kaiser, Remet, Concept. I've got a lot of them. Remet, Concept, Kaiser, Miguron, Vosteed. I've got a lot. I don't have every, but I got a lot. Girlfriend says I have too much. A few people say I have too much. I've been trying to keep my spreadsheet, because I have a spreadsheet of all my knives, which is not finished, by the way. Like a lot of these knives that I have haven't been added yet. And I've already hit nearly 300 lines on that spreadsheet, which is another reason why I might be slowing down just a little bit. Have a good one, Ron. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so now, didn't use that brush. I'll keep that for later. Let us get on with actually customizing a knife, because that's the big thing. And let me make sure I've got all my stuff for it. I've got my tins. This I use to protect what I've got everything on. And I've been thinking about it while I was doing everything else. I think we're going to do this one. This is the white bone, because I had my choice of this one and a different one that had a slightly yellower bonish color on the back. And it turns out that I really, really like it. I like both of them. Like, this one has a lot of freckles, has a lot of life in it also. But out of the two, I think I'd like to keep the other one untouched, and I think I'll burn this one. And then the way I intend to do this is I'm going to do it something similar to what I did here. This was my tester that I did. I liked how I burnt the ends where the bolsters were on this tester. I burnt the edges, and then I darkened the center a little bit. So I'm thinking I'm going to do it in just a fairly simple style like this. And let me just get some tape, which I completely forgot I didn't grab real quick. And my pliers, which I stuck in my work bag. So let me grab that real quick. And my torch. We're going to put this oil away. We're going to put the oil rags away. Not going to keep those anywhere near. So my oil rags, my sunshine cloth are well away. We got the tin. Put these off to the side. And what I'm going to do is first going to protect part of the blade with some painter's tape. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there are going to be some moments where I might grip this blade with some pliers, and I obviously don't want to be scratching that up. So we're just going to cover that a little bit. And then I'm going to take more, and I'm going to wrap the plier end of my pliers. Again, because I don't want to be scratching up the blade. So we're going to do that side with a little bit of painter's tape. Other people like using thermal tape and stuff like that. I'm not too worried about using like thermal tape or whatever, because the way I'm doing this is I take my time. I don't want the knife getting too hot. So when I do this, what I end up doing, if you watched last week's, is I'll do a little bit of burn, and then I'll give it some time to rest. I'll do a little bit more and more time to rest to let it cool off. So there we go, nice and protected. And I'll get my thermometer also. I almost forgot about that. Let me grab that real quick. Oop, mic's still working, yep. And I got my thermometer so I can check temps, that I'm not running too high. And last but not least, if you're gonna do something like this, I got my fire extinguisher. So that is right next to me and ready to go just in case. All right, so yeah, be safe if you're going to be doing something like this. Or, you know, supervised, obviously, if you're not an adult. In some cases, maybe still supervised. But anyway, I'm going to do something similar to this. This is a little Remington white bone that I was testing, you know, burning, trying it out, and seeing how I liked. I actually ended up liking this. I actually really like the way this knife looks to me. And I carry this quite often as well in my fifth pocket when I'm wearing jeans. But I like the look. I wanted to try it on a white bone. So we are going to do that now. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've wiped off any excess oil that may have been on here. Because this is the first copper lock that I've gotten from Chasing Blades. And I got this before I decided I was going to do any like customization or anything like that. So I had prepped this like I do all my knives, in which case I doused it with oil and then cleaned it off. And while I've removed as much oil prior to this as I could, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to go over it one more time, make sure that I've removed as much as I can. And then I'll get a brush real quick and we'll go along that well. Where's that brush that I just had a moment ago? That's the dirty brush. That's the naughty brush. There's the clean one. So just making sure no excess oil. It's as dry as possible, which it pretty much is now. Feels dry. Okay. So removed as much oil as I could from that, especially from the sides. What? No, there's a reason. I was thinking about dyeing stuff, but I decided against it for a couple of reasons. Now, I know there are probably other methods of doing it, but the method that I see the most requires RIT dye and then boiling, you know, heating up the dye, boiling the dye, dipping the knife in, you know, essentially boiling dye. And to do that, I'd have to set up like in the kitchen or get like a burner for the bedroom, which first of all, trying to set up in the kitchen would be like good luck. Second of all, I really don't like the idea of putting a burner into the bedroom. I don't know. I'm as far as dyeing is concerned, I'm not. I might try it in the future, but I'm really enjoying the burnt thing more. Mainly because a lot of times, now granted, yeah, you can come up with really interesting colors if you do custom dye jobs, but a lot of times I don't have too much of a problem getting the colors that I want, just buying them outright. So, whereas getting more unique, like burns or burning a particular color, isn't as easy to get my hands on. Like I said, like that lizard skin, which is green with a little bit burn. It's an exclusive if I wanted to buy it outright, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive. And the same with the PB&Js. You can't get them for one, unless you're lucky to get, like I did, that Christmas version. And it is a Christmas version. The regular PB&Js don't have all the Christmas stuff on them, which I really would love to get my hands on. But yeah, now they're going upwards of like close to around $200 for it, when retail cost of those is literally like maybe $80, if you could even get them anymore retail. So the thought of being able to just pay the regular price for a similar color and doing my own burn on it, I thought was just doing that would, not only that, is it's like custom to me. I made it. It's really cool. And I just want to play with fire. You're right. But it's a lot, the whole boiling, and then what happens if I do it in the bedroom? And you know me, I can be kind of a klutz. Can you imagine boiling dye spilling? And that would be a lot of dye. Can you imagine me accidentally tipping that over, boiling dye, spilling it everywhere? Yeah, good luck. Either here or in the kitchen. You know. Because writ dye can be, it's powerful stuff. If you spilled that, it's not coming out. And if you spill that on something that you're not willing to bleach, it's definitely not coming out. But anyway, yeah, so well, if you can do the dyeing, by all means do it. I've seen some really cool stuff. I just don't want to deal with the consequences if I muck it up. If I burn something and I muck it up on the knife, I messed up the knife. If I burn something and accidentally light a little something on fire, I mean, yeah, that could be bad, but at least I got a fire extinguisher here. I can put it out pretty quick if I need to. And again, I'm trying to be extra cautious. But yeah, the thought of dripping boiling dye somewhere that I don't want to get dye on, yikes. I don't know. Everything I've seen, they boil it to an extent. I don't know if they dip it in boiling dye, but I've seen them all boil it, or at least, at the very least, heat it up really high. But I just wanted to try a natural bone burn, is what I'm doing here. And again, something similar to what I did with this. I don't know. Again, this is the hardest part when it comes to customizing, is just envisioning what you want to do. And I've pretty much set myself on this. I was trying to envision what it might look like if I started dark in the center and then faded out. But at least in my mind's eye, I wasn't liking the look. Like, again, like I'm sitting here, I have my eyes closed. I'm just envisioning this. Like, I'll open them real quick, look at the knife, and just envision what the burn might look like. And I'm thinking I'm liking this idea better. I don't know what you guys think. And worst case scenario, if something happens and I burn this to the point of where I don't like the way this looks, I could always just darken the entire bone. And now I'll have a burnt bone knife. Well, an entirely brown knife. This was always the hardest. And thankfully I had a white bone to test this on. I have a red, like inexpensive red one coming in. That's jigged red that I'm going to try to do a similar pattern, except burn the tips of the ridges like I've done with the caramel apple. And that hopefully will be in next week as well. So, all right. I've envisioned this enough. I think I'm settled on this. Let's see how this goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken the edges here near the bolsters and also along the edges. And then I might toast the center a little bit, pretty much just how this one looks. Give it kind of like a, kind of like an aged look is what I'm going for. Like a dirty aged look. A little coffee to steady my nerves. Nope, that gave me the shakes. Okay, make sure I have enough butane in this thing. Because running out in the middle of this is also hilarious. And then we will start on this end here. And what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go dark and then lighten up as I go towards the center. Now, the big thing with this that I have to be careful of is obviously I don't want to heat it up too quick because it is bone. Bone can crack. I don't know if it can get you high. It smells pretty tasty. And we're going to start kind of light there. But I have to keep in mind that this heat will travel along the metal. We'll let that rest a little bit. We're going to turn this around, and then we're going to go from the other side. You always use RIT dye right in the sink when you dye cloth. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, again, if I were to do it in the kitchen, I don't have room to set up in the kitchen. It'd be insane. I live in a small apartment, and we have like no counter space. We have an electric stove, flat top stove, which I also hate. I hate electric stoves. I really wish gas, but I really wish we had gas. But at the same time, I understand why they go electric. Nobody wants, you know, it'd be one thing. I trust myself with a gas stove. I've seen neighbors do some crazy, weird stuff though. I wouldn't want to have to worry about one of the neighbors blowing me up. And then again, having a burner in the bedroom where I do normally set up, because all this is set up in my bedroom. The idea of spilling it anywhere if I were to make a mistake, yeah, no, that wouldn't do well. If I would, if I had something like a garage setup or a place where I had hard flooring, like a workshop, that, yeah, not a problem, not a problem. But I don't. I'm not lucky enough to have that. So I'm dealing with what I got, in which case it's, small apartment. Now I'm trying to be careful of the pins because that's an area that could be a bit of an issue. I gotta be careful not to crack anything, which is also why I do it like this. You like taking little pot shots with the handgun. Now that's about where I like it for the bolster side. I think we're good. It's gonna also lighten up a little. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the edges here. see what the temp is real quick. I haven't done that in a little bit. Not bad. We're still at about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I think we got close to 200 when I was doing the green apple, like 180. You hate gas. See, I love gas stoves. I feel like I have a lot more control over a gas stove. Electric, to me, takes way too long to heat up, and a lot of times way too long to cool down. And unless you have a really fancy electric stove that has some type of temperature control, a lot of times they're not really very, like if you've just got your simple dial one, you really got to watch your temps, which is one of the reasons why I have this. Because depending on the stove, I've seen like I'll put it on medium and then melt a pan if you're not careful. I've seen stoves do that, and that's just like on medium. All right, so now we're gonna go toast the sides a little bit. I know one thing I'm noticing about the white. I've noticed about the white bone is it darkens quickly, like fast. So if you don't want it too dark, you gotta be quick. It's weird because when I was doing this, like I used the Remington as a tester before I even did the green apple, and it burned about the same rate this was. So I thought that it was going to go pretty quick, and when I actually started on that green apple, it took a lot longer to get the burn in than I thought it was going to take. It's kind of weird. It's like shooting color onto the knife. Because actually doing this little clicking thing that I'm doing, believe it or not, is enough to darken little spots. Okay. Let's let that cool off. How hot did I get? Yeah, 170. Okay. We'll let that cool off for a little bit. The morons that built your complex put in central air vent where it blows directly on the stove. Even with the vent. Wait, what? Well, that could be a problem. Yeah, I mean, all things said and done, whether it's electric or gas, is if it's a good stove, it's going to be a good stove. But it has to kind of start out as a good one. A crappy gas stove, obviously, you're going to have a crappy time with. Same with electric. And that could be just the issue, with me and electric. Because all the electric stoves that I've had to deal with were pretty inconsistent. I mean, and they were obviously the cheapest that the complex would go with. And therefore, it's not going to be a good, I never thought it was a good experience. So maybe it's just because I haven't had the pleasure of trying out one that was good. where, at least for me, more often than not, even with a crappy gas stove, I generally have better, I feel like I have better control. Now I'm going to darken the center a little bit. And this is going to be the tricky part because I don't want to get it too dark in the center. I still want it. I just want to give it a little color. Because again, I want it dark fading to white in. The hell is that sound? Sounds like somebody's flying a drone. That is totally a drone. I'm hearing drone propellers out there. I don't see it, but I sure as hell am hearing it. Okay. We're going to let that cool. And I think this is kind of where I want it. Basically, my intention with the burn is to kind of age it, is what I'm looking. I'm looking for like a more of an aged look. Now, preferably, I like some jigging on the, like these are smooth bone. Unfortunately, I don't know anywhere that's got like, or very few knives that have jigging on white bone. I think Cobra Tech has one. I was tempted to try it on the Cobra Tech one, but I really wanted to try it on this, on these copper locks. Just made cinnamon rolls and all. You're gonna make me hungry. Okay, like I said, these are lightening up a little bit, so I'm gonna darken that a little. Oop, that's what I was worried about. There we go. Getting a little bigger there. Fade in. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Just a little color in the center. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. You've been tortured all day. Oh, you've got your pot roast in. Oh, you're gonna make me hungry. Yeah, I think when I was doing the burn on the bolsters, I think they were a little on the small side. This is much better. The hardest part is actually not doing too much on the sides, because this thing wants to burn pretty fast. There we go. I think this side might be done. Yeah, we're approaching about almost 200 degrees on the bolsters. It's cooling down relatively quick. I don't want to cool it out. Like, I'm not going to douse it in ice. That's going to crack something. We'll just let that sit for a while, cool down. That's about as dark as I think I want it. I don't think I want to go darker than that. You just got a new stovetop. You had to test it out. Well, there you go. Why is it all my conversations online turn to food? I didn't even do it this time. Who started the food conversation? Who started that one? All my talk, anytime I'm talking online, I have my video game channel, and even this one, we end up talking about food. I get so hungry. I don't have it. Wait, I have a meat stick. I have to get more of those. I think I'm good. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna do the other side yet. I am going to, when this is a temperature where I can comfortably hold it, just getting there, I'm gonna run a sunshine cloth over it to give it a good shine and polish to see how it looks. And then if I'm satisfied with that, I'll move on to the other side. As soon as I figure out where that sunshine cloth I just tossed went to, because I have a tendency to toss cloths everywhere and forget where I threw them. I have the memory of a donut. Probably the brain of a donut. This is not my sunshine cloth, but it is a polishing cloth. What the hell did I do with it? I don't want to open another one. I can open another one. I've got quite a few. These things, I can't recommend these things enough. I'm pretty sure I have a link to these in my description below. If you got a lot of jewelry, they're freaking excellent for jewelry. If you got knives like I do, amazing for polishing up knives. Just really polishing anything metal, they're freaking fantastic. I can't recommend them enough. I know I had one that was already open that I used, and they last a lot longer than you'd think. Because even this one, you can essentially use these until they wear out completely. They turn dark as you use them. And you can continue to use this until they end up getting like threadbare. And I have like a bag full of these tubes. They're not super expensive. I think I got like a pack of them for like 20 bucks. I forgot how much was in a pack because I kind of combined packs. So I can't recall exactly how much came in a pack. I think it was like 20 bucks for like 4 of them, maybe. And they do last a good long time. I don't know what I did with that other cloth. I don't want to open another one. Oh well. Okay, we'll just deal with that one. It's gonna, the funny thing is I'm gonna find it as soon as I'm done with all this. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna find like 20 of them sitting around somewhere. You gotta start the gravy. Jono, how you doing? Okay, let's see where this is at. 120 degrees on that bolster. Much cooler on this side. Why is it so much warmer on that side? It's hand holdable, which isn't too bad. 92 degrees. Yeah, that other side's just still a tad warm. We'll let that cool off a little bit more. And then we will work on polishing it up. There we go. And I'm actually considering putting more of my Rough Riders into my Buy It Now store. I'm thinking I might need to make more room again. And I do love Rough Rider, but I've got so many of them that I think I might start getting rid of some, like, I guess you can call them like kind of, what's the term I'm looking for? Because I don't have too many duplicates, but I do have a lot. Like, for example, I have a lot of trappers. Even though I don't have a lot of duplicate trappers. Yeah, I know. I'm super disorganized. Oh, yeah, here's one of my flashlights that's just sitting by my desk. And I have quite a few Olights. I have a lot of Olights. I actually have some Halloween Olights that I got earlier. They're all hidden away in a box somewhere. Because I haven't even opened those boxes. Yeah, it's my organization is about the same as my brain. I don't know if that's good. That's probably very, very bad. Wow, I made a mess in this corner. I'm not going to move the camera. Holy shit. I'm going to have a lot of cleanup later. Mm. While we're waiting for this to cool down, I did have some minor news. I don't know, minor, major. There is a possibility that I might have a chance to partner up with a retailer, which I'm really considering doing. It's not something that they've done before. Obviously, it's not something I've ever done before, so I'm considering the options and how we're going to do this. But they approached me with the idea. I'm pretty sure we might have joked about it before, but oh, there it is. But only really, like, I've only mentioned it maybe in joking, like, oh, it'd be great if you sponsored me, or great if we partnered up, etc., etc. And we'd laugh and all that other stuff. But then they approached me and thought, we talked briefly, like, they'd really like to work with me. I'd really love to work with them. So there's a thought of partnering up in some fashion. It's just a matter of how, because it's something that they never did. Obviously I never did. So kind of figuring that out and trying to make it so it's financially viable for both of us. Yes, I am torching a knife. I'm heating up knife handles. This is going to be kind of cool because I can show you what the original looked like, because I have another one. But to give you an idea what the original knife looked like, where the hell is it? There it is. I had another one in the box. I only burn one when I know I can get my hands on another, because I kind of like the originals, but I do like to experiment and then customize. But this is what the knife originally looks like. There's going to be some variances because this is natural bone. But it's a natural bone. It's a case natural bone copper lock Warncliffe variant. And this is what I am doing to it. Now, this side, I'm pretty much done. This is kind of like how I wanted it to toast it. I am toasting. Ooh, excuse me. I am toasting. Holy crap. Toasting a natural bone. And then this one I'm going to keep pristine because I kind of like how the natural bone look on this one is. I liked them. I liked how they both looked. But I thought I'd give a shot and customize this one. And I'll just keep this the way it is. Giuseppe, you have a serious question. For those who advocate knives for self-defense, why is this even a consideration over a firearm for some? Oh, interesting question. Now, the reason why, the first thing that comes to mind in regards to why would somebody consider a knife over a firearm is because in many cases, you might not be able to use a firearm for self-defense. Even in America, where firearm culture is huge, we have the Second Amendment. We do have there is a lot of pushback and a lot of places that still frown upon using firearms, regardless of the reason. And so it's a near constant battle to maintain our rights as our rights for firearm ownership and use in self-defense. So for a lot of people, they're kind of left with no other choice other than to carry a knife. And there's other factors as well. Like, so for example, cost is another thing. Owning a firearm can be pretty expensive. I mean, you've got the firearm itself, which can be pretty expensive. You've got, which I believe are very much needed accessories like holsters and other gear that I believe is very necessary when you own a firearm, is another expense. The ammunition is another expense. Practicing is an expense. If you are required to have a permit, that's another expense. So yeah, it gets very expensive to own even just one firearm for self-defense. I can tell you it's very expensive. I own several. So having a knife financially, for those that might not be able to afford it, might be your only real choice. And that's probably the biggest reason. Other reasons why some people might consider carrying a knife over a gun is because they are easier to carry, they are easier to conceal. Many places have less restriction on what you carry, depending on where you are. I unfortunately reside in a state where there are quite a few restrictions. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with the area you reside, their laws, and cost are probably the biggest things. My own personal opinion on knives for self-defense, I always have knives on me. Now, I have the ability to carry a firearm for self-defense, and whenever I'm out and about, I carry a firearm, but I always have knives on me. Generally as used as tools. I open packages a lot. I'm opening other stuff a lot, cutting cables, cutting zip ties and stuff like that a lot. So they're handy tools. If you were to ask me, I would be very hesitant to use a knife in self-defense. To me, the funny thing is, for me, I feel like a knife is absolutely the last resort. Reason being is, now I've been taught how to use knives in self-defense. My father and various classes and stuff like that. I'm Filipino, and knives are almost like a part of Filipino culture as it is with, guns in American culture. And while I was taught how to defend myself with a knife and how to use a knife in that regard, it really, for me, I believe it's a very last resort, because when it comes to training with a knife, most of the training is really about really not cutting yourself. And if I ever had to go into defending myself and all I had was my knife, I always thought that you go into that mindset knowing you are going to get cut. I would very much prefer to run away than have to rely on my knife. Because if you have to rely on your knife, you have to consider a couple things. Once, there's no rules in self-defense. If you're on the street and somebody's attacking you, there's no rules. People are going to fight dirty, and you don't know how people are going to react. 2, knives are very, very close combat, personal, they're very, very close combat weapons. It's not like the movies. Nothing is choreographed. If you're within knife range of somebody, you're in range for their attacks just as they're in range with your attacks, okay? Or your defense, or however you want to put it. So yeah, if I have to pull a knife out for self-defense, I'm doing it knowing that I am probably going to get cut a lot. I would much rather run away than have to pull a knife. Now, yeah, I still would make sure I have a knife as the my very last choice in use of self-defense. Like I would rather put up my fists than, to be quite honest, pull a knife. If the guy has a knife, yeah, I'm gonna pull out my knife. Or actually, if a guy has a knife, I'm pulling my gun. But if I have nothing else but my knife, yeah, of course I'm gonna pull my knife out. But I'd rather just get the hell out of there. I would rather run away than ever have to use my knife in self-defense. And it's not because I feel like I'm incapable of defending myself with a knife. It's just the nature of knives. It's up close, it's personal, it's, you're in each other's face. Things are going to move quickly. You're going to get cut. If you can get away unscathed, consider yourself very, very lucky. Consider yourself very lucky. Because if knives come out, somebody's gonna end up bleeding quite a bit. So I would much rather just not get in that situation. But yeah, I mean, I completely understand why people would carry a knife over a firearm because, again, it might be the laws where they live, it might be the money involved, they can't afford it. You know, it's very expensive, and that's all they've got. Carry when it comes to defending yourself, carry what you can, but just know that um, you have to go into it knowing that it's not exactly ideal either. I've seen a lot of mall ninjas and stuff like that. You know what? I'll confess, I used to be one of them. Used to think when I was much younger, used to think I was invincible, and you know, I was trained well enough that hey, if anybody came at me with a knife and I pulled my knife, I'll make mincemeat out of them. And then I grew older and hopefully a little bit wiser and realized that's not how real life works. Real life is a lot of uncertainty. Nothing is choreographed. Very, you know, a lot of the times things will not go the way you expected to. All I can say in that regard is be prepared, train, practice, and just be as prepared as you can. And overall, your best defense in any situation, regardless of whether you're carrying a firearm, carrying a knife, or whatever, your best defense in keeping yourself safe is avoiding those situations. Is exactly, Jono, exactly. Never end up in that, never end up in that situation in the first place. Now, like I said, I carry a firearm for self-defense. Because I carry a firearm doesn't mean like, oh well, now I can walk down that dark alley in the big city because I'm carrying because I'm carrying a firearm, I can walk down that dark alley now. No, you still avoid situations like that. I don't carry a gun because I want to use it. I carry a firearm because I want to keep myself safe and give myself the choice to be able to protect myself. In all honesty, I hope I never use it. I dread the idea of having to use it on anybody else. But I also dread more the idea that I'll be in a situation I can't get out of, and I would much rather have it and have the choice to use it to defend myself than never have it in the first place. And that's how I feel about that. But yeah, the best defense against things like that is not put yourself in that situation to begin with. That's how I feel. And you're talking to somebody, I might not train to the point of some of these people that train hard, like in competition and stuff, but I like to get out there and I like to practice at ranges and maintain my skill level. I can shoot relatively well. I'm not trying to say it as a bragging point, but I know in a lot of the classes that I took, with a lot of classes that I've taken, I'm aside from some people that I know that shoot to compete, I'm confident in saying that I've outshot the majority of the people I've been in classes with, and I can get them on point when and where I need, when I need to. But that doesn't make me invincible. It doesn't make anybody invincible. All it takes is one bad situation, one wrong thing to happen, and things can turn quickly. So my practice is just not to get in those situations to begin with. My firearm, my knives, absolutely last resort when I feel I have no other choice. Okay. All that conversation managed to cool this off quite well. Better to have and not need than need and not have. Exactly. And I would rather have and never have to use it outside of having fun at a gun range than not have it at all. Okay, so we are going to wipe this off a little bit, and we're going to take a sunshine cloth to it to give it a little polish. It might lighten up the sides a little, which is fine. My biggest worry was because there's some interesting texture here that I was a little worried could crack, which is another reason why I didn't want to go too dark. And I don't want to crack anywhere near the pins. So I think I lucked out there. It stayed nice and solid. I was able to get a good toast on it. No crack. And shining it up, that side is looking pretty good, I think. I was trying to give it, like I said, a more antiqued look than just clean bone, which I like the clean bone as well. I just wanted to try antiquing it a little bit, burning it a little bit, giving it a much more older look. And I think this turned out, because the way I envisioned it is like if I'm holding the knife to use, my fingers where they would be rubbing, my thumb would probably keep the center pretty well worn, okay? Where my fingers go. So that's why I opted for the lighter center, and the darker edges where dirt, grit, whatever might accumulate easier. That's how I'm picturing it in my head. Whether that actually is how it wears down, I have no idea. But in my mind, that this type of toast pattern, I guess you can call it, kind of fit, which is why I wanted to go with this route. Somebody's at the door. I don't know if my girlfriend is feeling well enough to grab that. Hold on just a second. Let me go grab the door. And see what's up. Somebody might have just dropped off a package, which is possible. And I'm not expecting any other knives, so it's probably like soap. Let me see if there's anything here. Okay. Oh, it was. Yay. Excuse me. Just an Amazon order of home goods. Or wait, no. This is not my order. This is my girlfriend's order. I'll open it later. Okay. I hope it's not more candy. And let's see here. Okay, so we got this side looking how I want it, nicely shined up. I was going to see how, because the reason why I wanted to give another look after I use the sunshine cloth is, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you do a toast, the bone gets really dull. I probably should have showed it prior. Maybe if I remember, I'll do it for the next side. After running the sunshine cloth over it, it gives it a nice glossy finish to that bone. And it will sometimes lighten up the toast a little bit, because these sunshine cloths have a very, very mild abrasive, which is how they shine things up really nicely. Like, you can actually use these to remove very superficial, very minor smudges and like scratches sometimes, as long as it's not too deep. But I think that came out really well. And then we're gonna, so my other concern was the fact that we have 2 pins on this side. So that's another area that I was worried about might crack if I did too much. But I think I lucked out there. And then we're going to do this side. Again, another point of concern. We got 2 pins on that side. And now we have a shield. So I'm trying to look where I have the burn stopped, which is right about here on this side, right about here on the other side. So just past the shield is where I'm going to fade the burn out. And then just before this pin here on the other side, we'll go and do that. We'll start there. Yeah, knife more as backup and utilitarian tool. And that's how I view all knives. Knives are, well, firearms also. They're tools. It's all dependent, and I don't understand how other people argue this point, really. It's not the item. A knife, or a firearm for that matter, if I left this here and just sit here, it's not going to go out to stab anybody. It's not going to go jumping off the table and leaping for anybody's throat. It's whoever's holding the knife, whoever's using it. That's the actual weapon. This isn't the weapon. The person holding it would be. It's all about who this person is that's holding the tool. Because when you think about it, depending on who it is, nearly everything around me can be used in either a good way or a bad way. It's all dependent on who's holding it. Like, it's the reason why I like the Wharncliffe. The Wharncliffe is a great blade shape for dealing with boxes, cardboard, cables, zip ties, all that stuff. I enjoy collecting pocket knives because I can also see the art in these knives. I see a lot of knives. I view a lot of knives as also a piece of, not just a tool. I also see them as a piece of art. Like, for example, what I'm doing here, I'm customizing this because I like the way it looks. To me, it's a customized piece of art that I am, in a way, I'm creating. I mean, yeah, Case made this. I'm just doing my thing. But I'm personalizing it in a way that I like. But even then, with a Case knife, the bone looks amazing. The way they do the bolsters, the way they look, the way they feel. It's all, to me, something I can even not only just appreciate as a tool, but appreciate as a work of art. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I collect knives is I think a lot of the, I can see beauty in it. I see art in it. I just really think they're cool. Evil people will do evil things with anything. That's very true. But I don't know why I'm taking a temperature there. All right, so we are going to work on the other side, and we're going to try again, try to mirror what I did. Now, to start off, when I'm doing this, a lot of times first thing I'm doing is drying the bone quite a bit. It doesn't take the burn until that bone dries completely. And that's where the whole, like, I'm afraid it's going to crack comes in. Okay. I think we got that already where we want it. Other reason why I don't want to heat the pins up too much is, again, I don't know how they have them. I don't know if it's just mechanically attached, like, the tightness of the pin holding the scales there, or if they actually use it. My guess is they use an adhesive. And so I'm trying to make sure I don't get it too hot to where I essentially melt off that adhesive. We're at 120 degrees now. Because the last thing I want to do is do too much remove the adhesive and have that pin just sort of like fly off. I don't know if that could happen. I'm just saying that I wouldn't want that to happen if it could. So, and this is another reason why I burn, and then we'll give it time to cool off, and we'll wait before I do the other side. Any other questions? I love talking about this stuff, knives and all that. You know what? One thing I never mentioned. This was not my first idea. My first idea wasn't to do pocket knives, even though I collect pocket knives. Oh, have a good one, Waylon. Come back soon. We'll call your brother. My first idea actually wasn't to do a YouTube channel on pocket knives. The one thing I really actually wanted to start, and this was actually even before I started my video game channel. I did have ideas to start a YouTube channel, but my idea had nothing to do with either this or video games. It had to do with firearms. I wanted to start a gun channel. I loved a lot of channels like Hickok 45, Demolition Ranch, whose Demolition Ranch did amazingly well, and he was even able to retire essentially. But Hickok 45, Demolition Ranch, there's a few others that I really loved and looked up to, and just loved watching. And I was big into, now I have a small collection of firearms, nowhere near like knives or anything like that. I've only got a few, barely can consider it a collection. But I really wanted to start a firearm channel. I really wanted to start a gun channel. But I had to, I was looking into it and all this other stuff. And, you think about what it entails, and cost wise, unless you've already got a large collection. I mean, if you wanted to continue to make content and stuff like that for a gun channel, it'll be expensive. Unless you're very lucky and you're working with a retailer or something like that that's willing to sponsor and stuff like that. Doing a gun channel, I mean, when you're talking about just not only the guns alone, not only the firearms, but the ammunition to do like range videos and things like that, targets, the maintenance, that's all a huge cost. And also, not only that, but land. Literally having the space to do something like that. I live in a small apartment. If I were to do a video every time I went to the range, that would be insanely expensive. You're talking range costs, not to mention working with the range itself. They even allow you to do that. How many times are you going to do it that week? How much ammunition are you going to go through? It's not like I can step out in my backyard and start shooting at targets. So, I mean, it was kind of a dream. It was kind of a dream to do a gun channel. Not to mention the fact that, like I said, I've mentioned before, like I'm a caregiver, so I don't even get to go out to the range as often as I used to. Being a caregiver and having to take care of the majority of things at home, that restricts you. And so having a firearm channel was always a dream. It was the one thing that I really wanted to start, but realistically, money wise, location wise, and all that, yeah, not going to happen. Then I started my video game channel, and that surprisingly took off after so many years. Not that it's huge. I mean, when I say take off, I meant like bigger than I ever expected it to ever get. And I forgot what kicked me off on the whole knife thing. I think it was just sitting here looking at the knives that I'd collected before, and then remembering how I wanted to do a firearm channel, and then sitting here looking at some of the knives that I had and thinking, well, I can't really afford to do a gun channel. Pocket knives is another thing. And then boom, that's where we went. I don't have to have a special place to, do fire, to do knife videos or anything like that. I'm in my bedroom. It Now, granted, I did spend quite a lot on knives ever since starting my channel. So cost wise, yeah, it got expensive, but in comparison to something like a firearm channel, it's nowhere near what I imagine could have gone for that. Even though there are knives that cost about the same as some firearms, there's plenty more that don't, that are really, really amazing. Okay. We are cooled off. Let's start on the other side. We'll try to match that side, and then we'll work on the edges. I'm just hoping I have enough butane. Because it would suck getting halfway through and then running out. Let's even this out a little. Okay, I think we're about the same distance. Yeah. We're about the same distance. Now it's just a matter of toasting this a little bit more to get the same color. Oops. Ooh, that's hot. Let's not do that again. And then we'll work on the edges and then toast the center just a little bit. Okay, giving it just a tad bit of color towards the center. Okay, we'll let that cool off. I think I heated that pretty good. Yeah, just hit 200. Let's let that cool off. Last bag of rice. What do you mean? Oh, for dinner? Making me hungry. I think I'm going to do meatloaf and potatoes for dinner today. Let's see how we're looking real quick. I can do with a little bit more towards the edge, but I think we're pretty good. I got the length of the toast on towards the, I think I matched it up pretty well on both sides. So the length of that burn looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more on the blade side, but other than that, I'm going to darken the edges just a tad more, and we might be good. You're starving. I'm getting hungry. Who else is out there? Who else is out there watching that's not in chat? Come say hi. Let's talk knives. I still can't believe I got my hands on the canoe finally. Oh my god, this has me so excited. No, I'm not going to burn the canoe. I still can't believe I got my hands on this knife. I can't believe I got my hands on two of them. The other one will be here sometime next week. Probably Monday. And the funny thing is, I know he still has more. And I'd love to get my hands on like all of them and just resell, but I don't have the money to do that. I already spent more on just getting 2 of them as it is. Now, what am I going to do with the second one? I have no idea. I was thinking of reselling it, but he still does have stock in them. He doesn't have a lot of them. I don't know where the hell he got them. But the fact that he had new ones made me all giddy. These aren't used. I actually got my hands on 2 new canoes. You got about 25 minutes before Kenny gets home so you can eat. I'm hungry. I know I'm hungry. I only had lunch today. I didn't even eat breakfast. Okay. Let's see what the temp is on this now. No. Okay. I'm trying to see. Color's pretty matched on this. Like I said, maybe a little darker towards the blade side. A little darker, maybe a little darker edge there. I'm laser in my eyes. Freaking reflective. Okay. We will try to darken up a little bit and maybe extend the burn with a toast on the blade side. Let's go over here. Now again, we're just gonna touch it up a little bit. And then maybe a little bit more over here. Don't really have to darken it up much. And a little bit more on the edges. Think we might be good on that. Again, I wanted to get what I'm looking and shooting for is kind of like a aged burn, aged toasting. Just trying to even up the lines on the sides. It's interesting that the bone remains clear right around the pin. I don't want to darken it too much because I'm afraid if I try to darken the ring around the pin, there's a good chance it can crack. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Just toasting around the sides. And on the edge. Okay. We'll leave that cool for a little bit. And then we'll polish the whole thing up and see how it looks. Rolf, how you doing? How are things going with you? I'm really tempted. Like, I want to wait for the other green apple to come in. But like now that I have everything out, I'm like really tempted to start on the green apple copper lock. I'm trying to be patient because again, I want to compare the two before I burn. It's just I'm really tempted to start on it because I really like the look of that green apple or the caramel apple I made. American knives only or imported knives? Both, whatever catches my attention. I enjoy them all relatively equally. I do have a lot of imported knives because a lot, admittedly, are they're a lot of imported knives tend to be much more affordable. American knives tend to demand a higher price. Um, a lot of times, because of the quality that's expected of them and such. Um, but yeah, I enjoy both. I love the American knives that I have. I love the imported knives I have. It all depends on the knife. There are good there are good imported knife manufacturers, like great imported knife manufacturers. You got Civivi, you got Kaiser, you've got Concept, you've got Ramet. Um, I believe Migron. I believe Vosteed also imported. Fantastic, fantastic high quality knives from imported manufacturers. And I've gotten some knives from some US manufacturers that were like kind of questionable. So you're gonna have high points on either side, and you're gonna have low points on either side. Um, the best thing to do is to check people that do reviews, people that have a large collection, that have had the ability to experiment with knives from different manufacturers, um, to know that you're getting a good quality knife from a reputable maker. And there's a lot of fantastic American knife makers, unbelievably amazing American knife makers. You're going to end up paying a little bit more. And I've also, like I said, I've also seen some really questionable stuff from some American manufacturers. On the reverse side, some amazing imported knives. Some of my favorite knives are imported. But a lot of kind of really cheap junk from imported knife manufacturers. Um, so yeah, I've gotten some that were kind of crappy from both sides. From all areas of the world. You learn what manufacturers do a really good job, and you tend to stick with them. So yeah, really whatever catches my fancy. I've been doing a lot of case knife collecting. Those are American made knives. I have a ton of really inexpensive Red Ryder um, traditionals, and those are made in China, I believe, but they're still great, fantastic knives for the cost. um, like, let me give you an example of some of my favorites. Well, some of my favorites, and still gonna remain one of my favorites. You got the Kershaw Bel Air. Love, love this knife. I've got a couple of them. That's how much I love them. One way to tell how much I like a knife is if I go out of my way to try to get more. I can't always do it, but I've got this and also in blue. Fantastic knives. One of my favorites. Also from the imported side of things. This one is a Concept Tarocco. Hands down, another one of my favorite knives. Titanium, tiger stripe, tiger stripe titanium scales. S35 VN steel, I believe. Yes, S35 VN steel, designed by Jared Price. I know these are made overseas. Front flipper only, frame lock. Love this knife. Just love this knife. Because I love the feel. I love how easy it is to pop it open with that front flipper, it's only a front flipper unless you decide to like pinch and then pull it out, which is actually harder to do than just using that front flipper. But fantastic knife overall in terms of feel, materials, how much I love to fidget with this thing. I'm always fidgeting with this. That's a great imported one. Yeah, I have a mix. I have a very big mix. Those are some of my favorites. This one's another one from, I like Concept a lot. Another one from Concept. This is their Nahwal, if I'm even pronouncing that right. Another one with MagnaCut steel. I love the blade on this thing. It's a giant chunk of MagnaCut steel. This thing, blade heavy, but I love the blade shape on this, and the fact that it's just such a big chunk of MagnaCut steel. And I was mentioning it earlier today, somebody did a pocket check, so I thought I'd share what I carried earlier. And what I was carrying earlier was, I'll pull that out again. One of the knives I was carrying was a Ramet. This is the Sacred Falcon. Another really cool and interesting knife. Has even a lockup so you can lock it open. So now you can't close it. Unlock that. And it has a pivot button that works really well, really smooth. Ramet's another one of my favorites. And yeah, there's another. Now this one's an interesting one. I did a video on this. This one's made by Ketuo, and this one's actually 1 in 50. This is a limited release that was a conjunction with Blade City and Ketuo. Now they still make this knife, but this particular color combination, this colorway, they only made 50 of these. They just recently released one, like this is titanium with carbon fiber, TIN, or is it TIN? TIC? TIN coating on the blade, DLC coated on the scales. They recently released one that, because this knife was a little over $200. They released a G10 version, like a budget version, still a fantastic knife for roughly under $80, I believe. And I really want to get my hands on one of the $80 ones, because I just think this is a fantastic knife. It quickly became one of my new favorites, one of the latest knives that I've gotten, latest modern ones I've gotten. You got multiple modes of deployment, button lock, which is a kind of like a top liner lock. You've got a liner inside instead of a plunger type button. It's got, I think, a really kind of neat look to it. Super sharp, super fidgety. And this one's another imported one. But that one's a super cool one. And yeah, so yeah, I get them all over. It depends what catches my fancy. Which one was this? Where's my this is my North Mountain Tonto, the Kickstop Chop with SLD Magic steel that I think I showed off in my last live. Love this one. Another one. I know I say that a lot. I love every knife I get because I pay for all this. Nobody's really gifting me knives. I'm either buying them myself or I'm winning them in a giveaway or, things like that. Otherwise, all this stuff is coming out of my pocket. So I'm not going to just start buying knives that I'm not, yeah, there's some risk involved. I may or may not like a knife, but usually if I'm going to buy a knife, I'm going to do a little research into it. What's the overall consensus on the knife? A lot of people like the knife. Is there any known problems on the knife? Things like that. Before I start dropping money and doing my own video on it. Because I mean, some of these knives can be pretty expensive. And again, expense could be taken as subjective, but for me, an expensive knife, I mean, you're still looking at like $80 is pretty pricey. And when you get over, for me, when I get over 100, then I'm starting to think these are getting really expensive. And I only have a small handful of knives that even approach like $200. So, all that money is coming out of my pocket. I don't do anything special. I have a 9 to 5 job. Well, I work a lot from home, but it's your relatively typical job. I have a day job, and that's where I make my money. I don't make any money doing this. I'm doing this for fun. So yeah, I watch where my money goes when I'm buying a new knife, and I try to make sure I'm going to get something that I'm really going to like and enjoy. So yeah, for the most part, any knife I have in my collection, the majority of knives I have in my collection, I love. I like a lot. There might be some I love more than others, but for the most part, I love every knife in my collection. There's maybe 3 knives I can tell you right now that I was not very fond of when I got them. And admittedly, 2 of those knives I got knowing I was not going to like them. But at the same time, they were like, I think, $15 to $20 a piece. So I knew what I was getting into, and the reason why I got them is because I wanted to do an interesting video on them. I've subsequently sold those off. And then the third knife that I actually did not like was kind of a surprise to me because I fully expected to like it. And then I got it in and found out that it had some rather or somewhat common issues to it, and that I was not particularly aware of. So that one I end up actually even selling off as well. Just doing some touch-ups. I know it sounds like I'm just like shooting it, but you'd be surprised at how quickly it darkens up, even with me just doing this. Which is why I'm doing it. And then a little bit more color on there. I think we're good. I think we're good. We're just going to let that cool off, then I'm going to polish it. Yeah, those wicked blades, exactly. The one that had, there was one knife that had 2 blades on it, and there was another knife, and these were modern style knives, but they had 2 blades, and then another one that had 4 blades, and it was just super ridiculous looking. And maybe the 2-bladed version could feasibly be used in some situations, but that 4-bladed version where it had all 4 blades out was just utter ridiculousness. It was one of those knives that somebody decided to take and go, how goofy can I make this? You loved them. I thought they were like literally the most dangerous knives I had in my collection. And I'm not saying dangerous in terms of like being used maybe in like self-defense or something. I'm talking about dangerous for somebody just to hold. I had cut gloves on just to show them on screen because they were just utterly ridiculous in how they were made. And the only function that I could see them having was literally as a conversation piece. They were just a conversation piece because I can't see how they could be used in any real situation. Maybe the 2-bladed one had some usability, but I think that's stretching it. Because not only were they ridiculous looking in terms of how they were made and made to look, But in all honesty, they weren't exactly put together very well. they, they were they were cheap. Like I like to use the word inexpensive. Say for example, Zombie Nicks, or I mean Rough Rider knives. They're inexpensive knives. Okay, I think they're fantastic knives, but they're inexpensive. I would not call them cheap. Those Wicked knives, those were cheap with a capital C. I mean, they were horribly put together, horribly put together. And that's another reason why I called them probably the most dangerous knives I had at that time, was because they were put together so poorly that, I mean, really, I thought they would be more of a danger to anybody trying to use them than for anything else. Sure, they might have looked really interesting, but I think that was the only point to them, was to look interesting. And that's it. I should probably take a measure of the temperature before I just go and touch these things. Make sure that at least hand-holdable warm. Hottest spot on this thing is about 100 degrees. We'll wait a little bit, and then we'll polish them up. Yeah, no, they're just for looks. They had no real usability. They were nuts. Again, like I said, conversation pieces. You put them on a stand or something and waited for somebody to ask, what the hell was that? And you had a conversation piece. Oh, and there's one more thing I promised. I know Chasing Blades, I don't think they're in here today. There is one thing I've been forgetting to do that Chasing Blades has wanted me to do for the longest time, and I kept forgetting to do it. Morgan, remind me if I forget again that there's something I need to do for Chasing Blades. And I've got the knives out that I can do it with. But he wanted a specific demonstration. And so we will do a certain demonstration. I'm not going to say what it is yet. I'm going to wait till like this thing cools off and I can polish it off. But we've got like about an hour left in stream, so I want to make sure I fit that in before I end for the night. So this should be cool enough already. I think we're good. Yep. Okay, so a little warm, a little bit of separation for the bolsters, as expected. Nothing major. Still nice. And because one thing I noticed when you do a burn, when you do a toast, another thing you want to be careful of is when you toast bone on a knife, believe it or not, it will shrink just a little bit. So if you do it too much, you can end up, and I think that's where a lot of concern with the pins are, is if the bone shrinks around the pins, maybe the pin might just fall out. I don't know. Again, I don't know exactly how these are put together. Or maybe the scale might fall off, because then the pin can't hold the scale there. So you want to be very careful of that. You notice that there's just a hair of separation between the bolster and the bone, which is going to happen if you're going to toast the bone. I don't think there's unless you go for a really light toast, I don't think you're really going to avoid that. So just a hair on that one. And we're just cleaning this up now. We're going to take the sunshine cloth to it. We'll polish up the bolsters. We'll polish up the bone and the toasting, the burnt areas. Give it a good shine. And we'll see how that looks after I've worked this cloth over it. I think this turned out pretty darn well. Now, the other thing need to keep in mind is also, I think one mistake I might have made with the first one that I burned is I should have considered how it was going to affect the function of the knife. There's a reason why I have this blade open all the way, is because I think I might have lost just a hair of springiness on the spring. Now I managed to get that fixed on the one on the green apple, so it works perfectly fine now. But it's possible if you heat it up too much, you can actually affect how the knife operates. So I wanted to make sure that the spring was lying nice and flat. And then we are going to re-oil the pivot and test that spring. We got to remove the tape though. And we'll polish up the blade as well.
I didn't even really had to tape up my pliers. Now I think about it, I didn't even have to use my pliers. Removing that tape's always going to be fun. So we will clean off the blade. Again with sunshine cloth, give it a nice shine. And I think that's it. I think we have it. This is actually the look I was going for. Something that looked a little bit more aged and worn, even though it's got a nice polish to it. Something a little bit more aged looking and worn looking with that toast. I like it. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like it. I think it came out even better than I expected. I was admittedly I was unsure about this only because of the smooth white bone, but I think this came out really well. The way I see it is I gave it a little bit more of my own character into it. Got a nice little toast, good amount of color on those edges. I didn't want to go too dark on it. I think this is about where I want it. I know that I darkened the other one quite a bit. I like where I went with that one. I think this one I wanted to keep a little lighter. And let's see how that snap is. Nope, didn't really lose any snap either. Still got a good snap on it. We will add some oil just to the pivot area. And a little dab will do ya. There we go. Wipe off the excess. Where's my oil rag? There we go. And one thing I noticed is this will actually lighten up a little bit more over time. So I don't know if it's something that I'm going to want to do later. I'm going to want to burn it anymore, but I think I'm good. I think this is where I want it. If it lightens up more, then I might come back to it, but I think I'm good. So let's give that a polish. And I don't know, what do you guys think? I like it. I think I got to where, you know, what I was picturing in my head anyway. All that matters is you like it. Yeah, true. I'm just curious, you know, I always like to hear some opinions. I know it's not going to be the thing for everybody. But I'm enjoying doing this because it's like I have, you know, again, it's like I'm making, in a way, it just became a little bit more personal to me, like the caramel green apple that I made. It's a knife that, while others have made knives like this, you know, I'm not the only one to burn knives, obviously. Other people have done this. That's how I did it. I learned watching other people. But this one is unique to me. I'm the one that did the burn on it, and so it has some special significance in that regard, even though other people have done them. But I can say that this is uniquely mine, and I did it. Same with this. I think it came out beautiful. I definitely want to do now. I do have plans on doing a copper lock green apple like this, or like, you know, copper lock like this, but a green apple like that. I'm going to burn. I have another copper lock in green apple coming in. I'll be doing that. I have a red bone, but it's not case. I'd like to say it's made by Browning, but it has a jigged red bone, a textured red bone. And it was really inexpensive, but looked really cool. And the reason I got it is because it was inexpensive, and I wasn't sure how the red would take on some toast on the edges. So I didn't want to experiment with that one on a more expensive case knife. So finding that Browning for really dirt cheap was kind of a godsend. I'm going to go and test that out when I get it and see how the toast looks on a red one. And then you're not a fan of the burn? Well, I'm glad you enjoy the excitement. I like the burn. But I'm going to test it on the red, and then I have some sky blues coming in. And I'm really excited for when those come in because I want to see if I can try to make it look along the lines of a peanut butter and jelly. Now, I know it's not going to have the same dark blue to almost purplish color, but I'm thinking if I can get close, I can make it look relatively interesting. And again, those are textured. So I'm going to experiment with that when they come in. I don't know which ones I'm going to do next week or if I do all of them next week, because again, I know I'm not getting a lot of knives in. So I'm going to be doing more customizing and more talking about knives and maybe even sharing more of the collection on these lives than I've done in the past. It all kind of depends on what comes in, to be quite honest. But I will definitely be doing another live next week, again, Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, because I just enjoy doing it. I'm having fun with this. And yeah, I'm liking that. That one looks beautiful to me. A nice, more aged look to it. You know, like I said, I was thinking of doing the reverse of going dark in the center and then lighting up to the sides, but no, I think I like this better. Almost like the center is like kind of like worn clean in a way. A nice, good snap. In fact, I got even that oil helped out quite a bit. Yeah, really good snap on that, so we didn't lose anything there. Because I know when I toasted the trapper, it's like I lost a little springiness to it, but thankfully I was able to get that back. And I don't know. I'm guessing it's because maybe I burned off a lot of oil that might have been in the pivot, or I don't know. But I know I lost a lot of snap to it, but it's back to working how it was before. So the snap's back on it. So I'm excited for that. Put that back in the thing. Where'd you go? I need more of these things. These things are nice. Leather pouches from Case. Got this from Chasing Blades as well. Got a lot of stuff from Chasing Blades. But there we go with the burn. I think it came out really well. I don't think I need to go darker. That's about the big thing, is I think I am right where I wanted the color to be. So if I think I went too dark, then yeah, I might as well just do the whole thing brown. But that, to me, it gives it a nice, more old, like it looks a little older. I don't know. All right, so that's that. I think I'm gonna wait to do the green apple, partially because I know I'm starting to run short on time. We'll do the green apple copper lock next week, or maybe we'll do the red. I don't know. I've got a lot of thinking to do. Maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll do both. Who knows? We'll see how I feel when we get there. Oh, the thing that I wanted to demonstrate. Now, which one am I going to use? Because if I forget to do this again, I'm never going to hear the end of it from Chasing Blades. So I'm going to do that now with a little bit of, I guess, a history lesson of why I'm doing this. Now, we've seen one before. Let me clear this up as I'm talking. I've showed one of these knives before, the razors. Now, the razors that I showed, the Zombie Nick razor, and I have another one from Rough Rider called a Tuxedo. I was thinking about getting a case razor because the razors, I believe, are also going in the vault at the end of 2025. So if you don't have a case razor, now might be a good time to get one. Because otherwise you might not have a chance to get one after 2025, if I understood right. I know the baby docks are being retired or going into the vault at the end of 2025. Hearing about the razors was new to me. But the razors I'm talking about, let's take out the Zombie Nick, and then I'll take out the Tuxedo so you can see them. I forgot if anyone's bigger than the other. Oh, I picked the right one. This is a Tuxedo from Rough Rider. They look about the same size. There's the zombie neck. Here's the tuxedo. I'll put this back so I don't lose it. Okay. Now, unlike your typical straight razor that sort of like flops, you've had one, Morgan, so you know what I'm talking about. I believe these were called at one point, or still may be called, one-armed razors. And one thing, one of the things that I looked at when I first saw these razors was this weird shape. And what I'm talking about weird shape is I'm talking about right at the ends here. Okay. This, if you'll focus, you notice they have a really interesting looking tip. Okay. They have this weird curved, almost, no, not quite flat, but curved tip to them. And they might vary a little bit from knife to knife, but for the most part, they have that interesting like dip in the center of where that tip is. And then this one is a two-bladed version that has a clip point on it. And then what I found out is the name of these things. They were called, some people, or they used to be referred to as one-armed razors. And it had nothing to do with the number of blades on it. This one only has the razor blade. This one has two, but they were still called one-armed razors. And I did some digging and I found out the reason why is because the reason for this unique tip was to allow somebody to use the razor with one hand. That's the name, one-hand razor, or one-handed razor. And this interesting tip served a very specific purpose. Now, I'm not going to do it on myself because I'm just wearing shorts. But I'm wondering if I could demonstrate it. Let me put this away on my demonstration pocket. Where did I put that? I had a slip for this knife, and I don't know what I did with it. There it is. I'm going to put that back in the slip. There we go. Safe and sound. So, the way one-armed razors were supposed to be utilized, if you only had one arm available to do this, was the reason for the curve was to be able to catch the edge of something, whether it be a table, the pocket of your jeans, your belt, and allow you to open it with one hand. Now, obviously, I can't open this way with one hand by pinching it or anything, not unless I want to possibly cut myself. The way they would do that is they use that unique tip, and I'm going to try to demonstrate it on this pocket and hopefully not cut myself. Now, again, it could be used on the edge of a table, your belt, I'm going to try it out of the pocket, and what they would do is they would catch either the table edge or the pocket, and the tip would catch it like that and allow you to open the razor blade with one hand. I was able to do it. Yay! I was wondering if I was going to be able to do it. Now, as time passed, I don't know if, they weren't used. You got your other shavers now. I don't know many people that still use a razor like this for shaving. So, while they kept the cosmetic look of this tip here, one thing I did notice is some of them seem to be a little bit more useful than others, where this one, the reason why I wanted to pull this one out and use this is that it had a very pronounced little hump there, which makes it a lot easier to catch the edge of, in this case, the edge of the pocket, or, anything else for that matter, allowing me to open the blade. Whereas, say, I noticed on the zombie one, it's not as pronounced. It's not as, let me hold this back up. Where this one almost forms like a hook, this one is much more rounded off. There's a little bit of a bump, but not much in comparison to the Tuxedo here. So it might be enough to still be able to use. Yeah, still enough. And then there we go. And opened, and in this case, this one's a locking one. So that's how these razors were used. That's how they were opened with one hand, the one-handed razors. And I just thought it was a neat bit of, tidbit of information on why they had this peculiar design on the edge of their razors. And you'll notice that on any knife that is typically a razor pattern, is they're going to have that interesting little hump. If they were made for use with one arm or one hand, and you didn't have the ability or couldn't use your other hand to open it via the nail nick. But I thought that was pretty neat. Chasing Blades wanted me to demonstrate because it was something that they learned about. They hadn't known, and they learned about. And I've always meant to demonstrate how that works. I just kept forgetting because my memory. I just kept forgetting to demonstrate it, but it works actually quite easy. And I used the edge of the blade on that, was probably something you don't want to do, but that actually worked a lot easier than I thought to catch the edge of that pocket and open that up. This one was a little easier, but that's because, again, the shape, I think, is done a little better in order to catch that. It'll catch that pocket a lot easier. And this has a nice, this doesn't have a lock, but this has also, one thing that this doesn't have, this has over the zombie nick, is this has a nice half stop. The zombie nick doesn't. So you can pull it open to the half stop, and then you can reposition your hand and then fully open it the rest of the way, still using the edge of either your pocket or whatever to open the blade. I really like these tuxedos, by the way. Titanium coated blades done in black and very nice white. I don't know if this is bone. I don't believe it's bone. I think it's either G10 or I'm guessing it's a white G10 scales on this one. I haven't done too many videos on traditional knives, and I think the reason why is because there's so many different varieties. And then once you've seen one, like for example, a trapper, I can describe a trapper, do a video on one trapper. And then after that, every trapper is pretty much going to be the same, with really the only difference either being on size or looks. So I haven't really done many videos on traditional knives. Maybe I should still, though, because I've got so many of them. I don't know what you guys might be interested in seeing. But that I thought was really cool. You're listening, but stuffing your face. No problem. Stuff away. But yeah, that's how these razors operate. That's what that little ledge is used for, so you can use them with one hand. So there you go. I know you're not in here now, Chasing Blades, but I'll let you know that I did it. I showed it. I showed it with two different razors. I haven't showed it with a case razor because I don't have one. Hint, hint. Maybe I'll get one soon, unless somebody gifts me one. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I think they all pretty much work relatively the same way. The biggest difference is just going to be how well they did that blade tip. I think the Tuxedo, they did really well. The zombie nick still worked pretty well. I thought I might have a little harder time with it because it's much smaller compared to the Tuxedo. Unfortunately, I don't have a case razor to really compare it to. I might have to do that soon because, again, I believe those are going to be going away at the end of the year. So that might be another target relatively soon. We'll see how well those work. Did that have a nice choil on that one? No, this one doesn't. Okay. I was just noting the differences. This is a really nice choil to choke up on the blade. And this one surprisingly is much more of a belly and no choil. Huh. Okay. Now, am I going to use these to shave with? Probably not. I'm far beyond using these to shave, but the razors still make great cutting tools if you need a nice sharp knife. Um, and a very interesting look as well. And obviously, if you wanted to, you could shave with them. And you can use these one. Now you can use these with one hand. You can a traditional knife that you can use with one hand. Not the only traditional knife you can use with one hand, but surprising one, at least for me. So glad I was actually finally able to demonstrate that. So there you go, chasing blades. You wanted to see how it was done. That's how that works. I would have expected that they would have tried it on their own by this point because I kept forgetting about it and it took so long for me to do. I'll put that back in the box. I'm still figuring out other ways to display this stuff. And we will put this back in the box. So let me know. I know I didn't have too many things to show this week. Quite a few case, an interesting Rough Rider coral snake, which I thought was pretty cool. But what was your favorite of any knife, pretty much, I think you've seen today? Let me know in the comments below. Or if you're in chat, let me know now. What was your favorite knife that you've seen today? I have to say, I don't know. It's tough. That lizard, the green corn cob jig, and the Christmas peanut butter and jelly cases I thought were absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna pull these out again. I keep pulling these out. Can't help it. They're gorgeous looking to me. There's the lizard skin again. I really got to see if I can find this color with a similar jig, similar texture, because I really want to try recreating this myself. And maybe the same type of burn, not like how I did with the full bolster, right of the bolsters, but just enough to toast and color the ridges on these. I really want to see if I can find a green one. I found some light blue ones that are going to be interesting to try. I don't think they're going to look like a peanut butter and jelly, only because I think the blue might be a little too light. But I still think it will be a very interesting look. But if I were to pick a favorite out of everything that I've unboxed today, put this away, I would have to go with, no question, would have to be my canoe. Because that took forever to get. It's probably, well, that's not the cheapest knife I've unboxed today, but relatively inexpensive knife. When I got the canoe, it cost me just a little over $20. But they were just so hard to find. And I agonized over trying to find one of these for the longest time. And I'll be honest, I gave up. I completely gave up on believing that I was going to find one of these. And lo and behold, I got an alert. And at first, I wasn't even sure I believed the alert. Actually, I didn't even know what the alert was for. It's just that I got an alert. And I almost ignored it. I'm glad I didn't. And I finally managed to complete my Zombie Nick knife collection. So yeah, if you were to ask me what my favorite one is, I love the case knives. They're amazing, but they just had the unfortunate timing of being unboxed at the same time this one was. Any other time, I would have said the case, but today, the Zombie Nick reigns supreme for me. because now I have them all. Gotta catch them all. now I have all of them. Let me take all these out because I'm just having a blast with this. I got my canoe. I have my trapper. And I know, like I said before, there's other Zombie Nick stuff that's out there. But these were the only ones that I cared about. I already showed the razor. And I'm gonna have I gotta put these on a special display box or display case. These again because these, with the exception of the canoe, these were all given to me by my girlfriend. So another special reason to put them somewhere special. Another special reason to special. And then the toe, and then finally the canoe. So super excited to finally have all 4 knives. I think they have. I believe there was a fixed blade, which I'm not that big on fixed blade knives, so I don't really care about it. And I think there was something else that I had to do with the Zombie Nick line that I can't quite remember what it was. I don't even think it was a knife, but I don't believe that either of those can be found anymore. To be quite honest, I didn't even really bother looking. The only thing I was looking for were these. And I don't even know if these are still available, because I haven't hunted these down. Did I not clean this one? Why is there gunk in there? There should not be gunky. Here's some stuff. Where'd that go from? Maybe I missed cleaning this one. I might have to give this a once over. That razor. There was ickies in it. There we go. But super excited to finally have the full collection of this. And I can finally put that search to rest. Should probably let everybody else know that's looking for them for me. Because I had like at least 2 other sellers that were looking and had been keeping an eye out for these, or for this particular one for me. I should probably, well, Chasing Blades is one of them, so should let them know that you can stop looking. I finally found it. Oh my god, I finally found it. But I think that is going to be it today. Super happy with the custom that I did, the custom burn. Let me know what you think. I like it. I think the next one is going to be either one. Again, depending on when they come in, it's either going to be the blue, the red, another green apple, or who knows. Maybe I'll just make an entire live just burning those knives. So that'll be next week at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're enjoying these, come tune in then, because who knows what I end up doing. It's not like I plan a whole lot, and a lot of this is sort of like off the cuff when I do these lives. I just mainly love talking knives with you guys. I like meeting people that share the same hobby. In my case, it's more of an addiction or even sickness already. And I just have fun doing these. It's just extreme fun being able to sit here, chat with people that share a hobby, and hopefully learn more. So, what? Thank God, what? That I'm done. You can stop listening. You can stop listening now, Morgan. So thank you again for joining me. Hope you guys had fun watching. If you liked what you saw, please drop a like down below. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and also hit that notification bell, so that way you'll be notified when I drop a new video or when I schedule the next live. So thanks again for all your support. You guys have been amazing. I'm going to throw a special thank you to Chasing Blades for putting up with me and providing a lot of the knives that I've been using in my videos, especially a lot of the case knives. And I can't wait to get some of the, I have a couple shipments I'm waiting for that will be in next week. Can't wait to get those in. So special thanks to Chasing Blades, and also to SMKW and Shepherd Hills, where I got some of the other knives. Thank you so much for having those in stock. But you know, without, especially with chasing blades, without chasing blades, I would have a lot more money in my pocket. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. I don't really have an ending to this yet. I'm still been trying to work on doing like headers and ending videos, or maybe I just might not bother. I don't know. I don't have an ending to this yet, so I'm just going to go ahead, sign off, say thank you once again to everybody that watched and everybody that enjoyed. Please, again, comment below. Let me know what you think. And let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the next live. If I can do it, I'll try to do it. Uh, but, you know, I won't know unless somebody lets me know, somebody comments. But yeah, let me know what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see a particular knife customized, or just you have any suggestions of knives I should check out. That's how I learned about other manufacturers. Like I never knew about the kettlewell that I got until somebody mentioned it and said I should check them out, or a lot of other knives for that matter. So let me know if there's something that you'd like to see me check out. And if I can, I will try to check it out, maybe even do a video on it if I can get a hold of it. So thanks again so much, and hope to see you in the next video. So yeah, I'm just going to end this. Bye-bye. Go eat, Morgan. Finish your food. Make me something. Save me some of that pot roast, because that sounds freaking amazing. Good God, I'm hungry. I need food. I definitely need food. Yeah. Bye.